Alrighty, welcome everybody, and I know Tasha King, who usually sits right here, she's on 285.
I know.
And we
Jungle
might
out there.
have more stragglers coming in. Tom?
Mm-hmm.
Your
Yes.
name tent is in the back.
And so is, I haven't signed in.
Okay, so I do have everybody signed in and picked up an instructor evaluation. And then, here, more of these. I have a chapter synopsis, which I'll pass around. Y'all are in for such a treat. Oh, yes.
Yes.
And that Linda Barhumi is here to teach. And the reason I say a treat is because she's got a great personality. She really tells it like it is. And I always get that feedback from the students like, wow, she shot us straight. I learned so much real life practical from her. And Linda has taught like 3 or 4 different of the Ignite topics. And people say that for no matter what the topic is, that's the way she delivers. So I think you're going to really be happy that you came today. Tony Wilson, hello.
Good morning.
Hey,
You're fine.
we know what's happening outside.
Yes.
I do want to say, to homework, I'm going to put manila envelopes in the back and label one Big Y and another one. No, I'll put just one, Big Y and number of transactions. So I really do want to collect that from you. And even if you just scribbled it on a piece of paper, I don't care. I don't care whether you use the forms I sent. I do want to say with listing presentations, listing homes is a huge thing in real estate. In that, it's really a gateway to, you get to put your sign in the yard and therefore you get all this free advertising. It can lead to lots more business. It is a beautiful thing. Some people think, I must have a formal listing presentation where I say this, I do it every time, rinse and repeat. I don't find that to be reality. In my experience as an agent, all the listings I took were with personal friends. So of course I didn't do a formal listing presentation with them. You know, I did parts of it. It is good to be prepared, especially if you're going to present to somebody you don't know personally. So you need to be prepared, but I just wanted to give you that reality check that when you actually go do it, you won't always follow your agenda script entirely. And if your objective is to get them to sign the listing agreement and agree to work with you and let you list their home, condo, whatever, they may be ready when you walk in the door. You can ask them right up front, are you ready to sign the listing agreement? And if they say yes, whip out your thing. Don't talk anymore.
You're moving on to staging and marketing.
Exactly. So I just wanted to set that framework of don't be paranoid thinking, oh my gosh, I got to produce this big listing presentation. Do be prepared.
You're going to have people who want to see numbers. They want to see paperwork. They're very analytical. They're that type of personality. And then you're going to have somebody else, and they could be sitting at the same table, that just wants to know that you're going to work hard for them. And are you going to answer the phone when they call? And are you going to be there from day one until closing and after? So you got to know who your client is too. And if you don't know them before you go, try to get a read as you're going through your conversation.
And pre-qual phone call when you're setting up the appointment. You can
tell a lot by then.
All right, I'll shut up in just a second. I do want to introduce Rochelle Johnson Cabil.
Correct.
Can't believe it. We have another agent in our office named Janae Buchan. They didn't know each other, but you were referred to her.
Correct.
As newly got her license, kind of didn't know where she wanted to land. One phone call to Janae, and she said, I can tell you where to land and where you will get trained, etc. So we met on Friday.
On Friday.
and
Thursday,
that's right, and had a wonderful conversation, and she is ready to go after it. So, yes, so hilarious, by the way. So great sense of humor, and will be a wonderful addition to this class.
good.
So I'm gonna go print those other
Okay.
docs and.
Can I do this for class one?
Yes, you may.
Well, welcome, everybody. My name is Linda Barhumi. Sorry I don't have a name tag. I am thrilled that you're with the Keller Williams office. I'm also the chairperson of the Culture Committee. And the Culture Committee reaches out to our community and our city to give support to organizations and people as we want to give back. We are basically year-round, but our biggest event is called Red Day. Do you know what day it is this year? It's always
One
in
second, and
May,
I'll tell you. I want to say Thursday, May 8th. It's always the
the second
second Thursday.
Second
Hold on, let me
Thursday.
do that.
in May.
It'd be
So
the
we'll have-
14th.
I'm sorry?
That'd be the 14th.
You think the 14th? Maybe it's the first Thursday. I don't know. We'll have to look it
That'd
up.
be the 7th.
It might be the first one. I don't know. Is it the first or second Thursday? Do you know? We
I'll
were
answer
gonna
that
look.
question. Keep talking.
Anyway.
Just there it is.
So stay tuned for information on what we'll be doing this year as an office. We always do some kind of support in our community. And actually this Friday we're meeting a woman from the Aurora Day Camp, which is, I think it has to do with children who have terminal diseases. I'll let you know more.
And so it's a summer camp,
Okay.
and their siblings get to go with them.
There you go.
That's the twist.
See, I don't know a lot
which is so
about
cool.
it, but she's coming.
Denise Britty just.
Maria's
told me.
coming on Friday to our meeting, so
I'm
she'll present to
really
us. And
think it's
that
a
could be
great
our-
thing to get behind.
our motivation this year, our partnership might be with them. But anyway, if you have any interest in being on the Culture Committee with us, we would invite you. Our next meeting is this Friday at 11:30. Do they have class Friday?
No.
Okay. So if you wanted to come sit,
We have both of them.
Oh,
both.
2 of them are going to bowl.
Okay.
Yes.
well, and if any of the rest of you want to come and just, listen in and either join us or just see what we do, you're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Why don't you each tell me a little bit about yourselves, something that nobody would ever guess, something that people are going to go, you're kidding me. We already know yours, Ralph, is that you're, thank you, is that you are a professional singer, but I'm sure we all have something.
I have another one for you. He can tell you what date it is, and you tell him what month. And
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I'm singing at the National Day of Prayer in Athens at the Classic Center on that date.
That's how he knows.
I was thinking like
So we
it's a
hope,
calendar.
we hope
genius.
Red Day is not that day.
Well, there's a formula you can use, and you can come up with any date on a specific day. If you say, third Thursday in 2015, whatever it was, it's a formula that you can spit
Isn't
out.
that funny?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I thought that you knew that formula. Wow, that's pretty
No, I knew it.
impressive.
I just go from Sunday to Sunday, so I know what the Sundays are.
Yeah.
So I just get the ones in the middle.
And I can subtract the 7.
So I'm Linda Barhumi, and
Spell your name for me, please, Linda.
Barhoumi. My husband is from North Africa.
B-R-H-O-U-M-I?
Barhoumi.
Okay. He's from
I'm
Oklahoma?
From North Africa.
Tunisia.
Oh. I was like,
No, not Oklahoma. Tunisia. Yep.
I've
From
asked
North Africa.
if, I think I've already shared your contact
Okay.
with everybody.
you probably did.
Nodding.
You did on text. Thanks.
Okay.
Sorry.
And one fun fact that nobody would ever know about me is that when I was young and in high school, growing up in Iowa, a small town in Iowa, I used to walk beans to pull the weeds out, and I detasseled corn. That was my job in the summertime. Bet you guys didn't even know that was a thing.
What it is.
Yeah. Well, field corn that you feed to animals or that you use for corn syrup and different products. They plant 6 female rows and 2 male rows. And first you go through all the female rows and pull the tassels out so they don't pollinate or germinate. and then you pull the tassels out of the males a couple weeks later. Anyway, it's all scientific stuff. It was just basically very hard labor, and that's what I used to do for a dog. So, tell us something about you that we would never guess, and tell us your name.
Sure. My name is Rochelle Johnson Cadille. One of the things that you would never think about me is I'm a hydraulic mechanic. I used to work on H-3 and H-53 helicopters in the
Get out of
United
here.
States Navy.
Wow.
Thanks for your service.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
But I never would have guessed. Thank you for sharing.
You're
Well, thank you for your service.
My name is Colette Devine, and let's see. I'm sorry, I'm not striking on all the cylinders. I made Razal Hanout chicken yesterday.
Mm.
I love Moroccan.
That
It's
sounds
the Moroccan
good.
spice.
Morocco's right next
I
door
love
to
to cook.
Tunisia.
Of course, I think people know that about me, though.
I like to cook.
And I love to give it away.
Oh, I like to
I'll
eat,
be
just so you
back.
know.
I'll be back.
That's kind of my hobby, is eating and cooking, like, for real. It's what I think about all day long. Anyway, thank you for sharing.
Do you spell that divine, E-D-E or D-I?
D.
D-E.
Yeah.
I know another divine, one other person I know. It's an unusual name.
Oh, there's the second.
My ex-husband, Irish.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's the first or second. Okay, Ralph, you're up. Hit us.
I'm a grandfather.
Get out of here.
I am.
Did you have did you have them young?
Not too funny, Ralph.
Well, my first child was born when I was 24.
Oh, so you were not that young, really?
Yeah. So,
I thought you were gonna say like 18.
well, she's now 49 this month.
Okay.
Well, next month she'll be 49. So I'm a grandfather.
Congratulations. How many?
I have one
Just one? Yep.
bearing my name, Ralph Freeman III,
Oh.
because Ralph Freeman Jr. and then Ralph Freeman III.
So it's your son?
I have 5 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and so my son's son is now Ralph Freeman III.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Tony?
Oh, you skipped. Okay. I think, because I can't think of anything else, my maiden name is Raspberry. And I used to get teased relentlessly as a kid, you know, all kind of funny jokes, but learned to appreciate it when I became a Wilson, because there are hundreds of Tony Wilsons, including one that worked at ABC News with me, and they would get our paychecks mixed up. It was just a big deal. So it's like, why
Was hers
didn't I
bigger
just
or
stay at
smaller than
Raspberry?
yours?
Really good question. Yeah, you know, might want to keep hers. Yeah. So yeah, I think I learned to appreciate it as an adult because it is unique and different. Not just another Wilson.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Absolutely.
Tom?
So I have twin daughters that play ice hockey. They're 12.
Get out of here.
Seriously.
Good for them.
Yeah,
They love it?
they do.
In Georgia.
In Georgia, which, I mean, I've been on the ice a solid 10 times in my life.
Yeah.
Love to snow ski, but,
Mhm.
but you know, ice skating is just not something I want to go do every day.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's cool.
thanks.
Are they all girls on the team, or is it a mixed
No,
team?
it's a boys' team. Actually a boys' league. There's probably 5 girls in the league. 3 of them are on our team,
Mhm.
and my daughter and another girl are really good at defense. So we have one of the better, you know, when they're out there, our goalie's like, yes.
Glad they're out there.
Yeah,
That's a girl thing.
it is.
The mom thing, actually, they're gonna be good moms.
Yeah, it's funny. My daughter has a little saying up in her room that says, "A boy told me I skated like a girl. I told him if you skate a little faster, you could too."
Oh,
I love it.
there you go. See? Yeah,
They're chippy.
that's very interesting.
It's
Well,
fun.
good luck to them. And you.
Thanks.
Katie? Get my glasses on.
I danced in the '96 opening ceremonies for the Olympics.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Butterfly.
so cool.
Yeah.
You were a butterfly. So, were you with a company or a troupe, or you
I
just
was.
said, "I want to be in this"?
I was, and I actually just hit the cutoff. So the cutoff was my birthday. You had to be 15 or older, and I turned 15 right on that day. So I was the youngest.
Oh, I have
one.
goosebumps.
Yeah, so it was neat.
That
It was
is
really
so cool. How long did you guys have to practice?
Oh gosh, we practiced for like 4 months.
Wow.
A full-time job. Like it was.
Wow.
It was pretty insane. It was. I mean, it was an
Intense.
incredible production. There's so many people involved and so much that went on. But yeah, I was a butterfly, so my wings were so big. Like I wore like a harness thing, and they would put them in, and each wing would cover a car. Like it's so huge. And so after the ceremonies, my parents kept them in their garage for like ever. And like, you can let these go. Like, I don't know what you're gonna do with this
I got it up
wing.
here. I don't know. Got some photos. That is so cool.
Size of a car, that's pretty big.
And you were 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so heavy.
Yeah, they were very heavy.
Did you have to like make the move and stuff, or?
You did, yeah. You had to breathe with them, and it was a cool.
I don't remember the opening ceremonies. I mean, I lived in
Yeah.
Atlanta already.
Yeah.
I was pregnant with our first daughter, and I remember it, but I don't. I have to go back and look at that. Oh, that is really cool.
It was cool.
Cool. Well, we're glad you're here, Katie. And Janet.
Janet. Janet Dickinson. Something you don't know about me is when I was a kid, I was a magician.
Oh.
And I'm a member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians, or was.
Oh,
And
very
I
cool.
used to go to magic school every Saturday in Washington, D.C. I'd go downtown, and my dad would drive me and wait for me while I went in the back of Al's Magic Shop and took magic lessons.
Oh my God. In the back of Al's Magic Shop. Okay, that just sounds like a movie. If anybody's a screenwriter, that could be your next movie.
No, my daughters think that's the greatest thing about
I
it.
do too.
And when I go visit, they always make me do magic for their friends.
So you still do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's your best trick?
Swallowing a spoon.
Wow.
What is it?
Swallowing. I
Swallowing
might do it for you later.
A spoon.
Yeah.
Please do.
Ooh, I didn't know it was going to be teaching and a show. Too bad we don't have your wings here. We could have you dancing, you swallowing, you singing. We could have
Absolutely.
all kinds of stuff going on. Oh, that's really cool. Well, we're glad you're here, Janet. Tasha?
Yes, hi everybody. So I'm assuming we're just telling a fun fact about
Oh yeah,
ourselves.
sorry, you might not have heard that part. Yes, if you guys can. Yeah, we're just kind of introducing ourselves and just telling kind of a fun fact that nobody would ever know or guess by if they didn't know you. And probably many people who do know you might not know that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know. We have a
Mhm.
position. My name is Tasha Kane. I don't know, gosh. I would say maybe I have an 18-year-old daughter who goes to UGA, and most of the time people mistake us for sisters versus mom and daughter.
Mine too. My
But
daughter's
it's
46.
just- yeah, it's the most interesting
Yeah.
thing because they always think that we're around the same age. But
Does she like that, or does she think that's
she's
just?
like, I mean, we don't even look alike. She always.
She
kinda
will.
like that. Yeah, but-
There'll become a day soon
Yes.
that she'll be thrilled when people say that.
Exactly.
Yeah, really.
Exactly.
Right now, she's probably like, oh no. Just give her a couple
You're
years.
welcome for those good genes.
Uh-huh. Right? Right? Yeah, you don't look like you could have an 18-year-old.
Not at all.
No, you don't. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And Emily Taylor.
Yes. The fun fact about me is that I rode horses all through growing up.
Uh-huh.
I rode dressage.
Uh-huh.
I did some competitions, not too many. I no longer do it, but that's what I did growing up.
And where did you grow up?
In Atlanta.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Where'd you ride?
At Philip Riding Academy on Houston Mill or Houston Mill,
Mhm.
depending on how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So do you have children?
No.
If you do someday, would you encourage them to ride as well if they had interest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I grew up riding, but we rode Western,
Mm-hmm.
and it was mostly just trail riding, and
Yeah.
I didn't do any performing or, competition or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I was a way different way of life than here. And I think I missed you, Anna.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I guess an interest in a fact people wouldn't know about me is I'm actually a decent drawer. People are actually often surprised when they see my drawings.
What do you like to draw?
I can replicate.
Oh, okay.
So like if you were to give me a rhinoceros, right? How do you pronounce it?
Rhinoceros?
Yes, I could replicate it
Oh, wow.
decently. Wow.
You know what you should do for your clients when you have closings? Especially if you have a seller, if you represent the seller, is sketch them a smallish, like even an 8 by
Of the
10
home they sold.
of the current home that they sold. Because more than likely, it was very special to them,
I love that.
and it would be your
That's a great
own
idea.
drawing. Just take a photo,
Right.
of the front of the house, and then, yeah,
Sketch it. I love
sketch
that.
it.
That would,
Do you do ink or pencil or watercolor or what? Yeah.
Pencil.
I mean, I would love to have a pencil drawing of either one of our first 2 houses.
Yeah.
That would be really
buyer
Yeah,
too
yeah.
and give them postcards.
Right.
You know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, there you go, for the new house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See?
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So, we've just kind of shared a little bit about ourselves with each other, and that's really how I feel you need to treat your clients. Let them in a little bit. Yes, we need to be professional. We need to dress professionally. If we say we're going to be there at 10 a.m., we need to be there at 10 a.m. or before. If we say we're going to have something in the email to them by noon today, you need to have it emailed to them by noon today. If you're going to be, whatever it is that you say you're going to do, you need to do all those things. But also, don't be so professional that they don't know who you are and they don't learn to love you. If they already know and love you, you've got it in. If it's a family or a friend or an acquaintance or a past work relationship or whatever it is. But I think it's one of the reasons that I've been very successful is that I let people in. I let them know a little bit about me, and any client that I meet, whether it's on a listing appointment or a buyer appointment, I always say to them, I don't want to be your transaction agent. I want to be your realtor for life. And when you tell them that, you're kind of putting it in their head that says, A, she's not going anywhere. B, he's not in it just for the money. And when I'm ready to either sell or buy the next time, or when somebody else that I know is, I'm going to think of him or her. Be personable. Let them in a little bit. So today we are talking about Win the Seller is the name of this session. We're on session 4. Everybody is on session 4, right?
Yes.
We're going to talk about the pre-listing packet. We're going to talk about the listing presentation and getting the listing agreement signed. Like she said earlier, if you go on a listing appointment and they're already in, they're ready to sign and move forward, don't go through the whole process. You've already got them. You need to give them the information, but you can move right on to your seller's property disclosure and your community association disclosure if there is one, or lead-based paint if the house is older than 1978. Don't waste your time on all of that. So, you guys have daily 10-4 to complete, correct? Who's been doing their calls, contacts, notes, homes previewed? Who's been doing that regularly?
I've
Anybody?
been making calls, but I have not been putting 10 into my system every day.
Okay. Everybody else, anybody sending notes? No?
Notes, but I did preview 5 different properties over the weekend. I took clients out, but they are looking to lease for 1 year and then purchase after that. So we did go and see quite a few properties this weekend.
So that's your great opportunity to start building your relationship with them and tell them, point blank, if I help you find a lease, really what I want is for when you're ready to buy a year from now that you call me. You don't call anybody else.
Right.
And just say it. And I know at the beginning, you're going to be possibly a little bit nervous about, asking for the listing or asking for the buyer referral or whatever it is. Don't be. You got to set that expectation and tell them, I don't typically do listings. I will also tell you that I don't typically do listings. or excuse me, leases. That's what I meant, leases. I don't typically do leases because A, if you're trying to help the renter, there's not a lot of money in it, and it's a lot of running around, it's a lot of time and energy. It's not very cost productive. However, my number one client today came from a lease phone call. And through her, I've had 3 transactions with her and 6 referrals, and closed every single one of them in 1 year.
Wow.
So,
That's a
please don't say you don't do leases. Don't make it your number one priority, but you need to qualify the people. I had no idea she was going to become, and she's not the one who called me. Her niece called me for her uncle. And I met my client at the rental property. So you just never know where you're going to get your best client.
Can I say something? My dog trainer from 4 years ago, I just sold a house, and the buyer/agent saw my review of this dog trainer, and so she decided to go with the dog trainer, so the dog trainer called me, and then I just told her, so I'm expanding my business, if you know of anybody needing real estate, please refer me, and she said, oh, well, I want to move into a house for a year, and then lease, and then buy, and my brother also wants to use you, so that's just, you know, I mean, if I wouldn't have said I'm expanding my business, she would have never told me, and I would have never known.
Yeah, you're right. So don't ever look down on a lease. You know, some of them aren't going to go anywhere, but.
Did you ask them why they want to lease?
Well, it's my sister.
Oh, it's your sister?
It's my sister, yeah. So they're
Typically, leasing is more money to buy. I mean,
well, the reason that she's not purchasing right now is because her and her wife are in the process, her wife is in the process of coming out of a bankruptcy, and they are just not ready to purchase, but they want to use both of their incomes when they get ready to purchase. So they want to wait.
I'm licensed in Texas, and in Texas it's 50-50. Here, you know, it's like.
You can choose whatever you want. So typically, I would charge 1 month of rent. That's typically what I tell my clients. I've in the past couple of years, I've had a lot of investors who want to purchase an investment property, and then I tell them, I will help you lease it, and my fee is 1 month of rent.
Right.
And then I'll give away, so let's say it's $2,600 for rent, depending on what the rental rate is, I'll give away probably 20% or $500-600 to the renter's agent, and then keep the rest for my marketing and photographs and, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah, in Texas it's 50-50.
Yeah, no, you can do whatever you want here.
Okay.
On that, at least on leases. Okay, so your daily calls, notes, contacts into your database and previewing your homes. If you're not doing it, the only person you're hurting is yourself. I sat in your chair. When I started, I was like, I don't really have to do all that. You know, I don't have time. Nobody cares about notes. You know, I can't make all those calls. I don't want to pick up the phone. I'm afraid to. I've been in your shoes. You're not hurting me. You're not hurting Stacy. You're the one that it's going to hurt if you don't do these things. Everything that they teach you in Ignite and in Bold, if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, you're not growing. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Yeah. So please make those, at least the phone calls and the contacts, please make those a priority. It's for you. It's for your business. It's so important. And I know it's hard. It's still hard for me to pick up the phone and call somebody I haven't talked to in a long time. It doesn't, I would like to say tell you and say to you that it gets easier, and it might, but it might not. It's just kind of how it is. It's the nature of the beast, you know?
I have a question. So the calls that we're making, just to our friends and family, and say, hey, I'm doing real estate. If you need looking for a real estate agent, call me. Okay.
Yep. So if I turn to page 9, would you? There's some handwritten note, kind of scripts that you can use. Right now, we're going to make some phone calls. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to call your safe people. It could be your sister, it can be your father, it can be your uncle, it can be your neighbor, it can be your roommate, it can be whoever you want it to be. Whoever you're comfortable calling. And here's what I want you to say. Hello, John. It's Linda. How are you doing? Either, if you haven't talked to them in a while, hey, it's nice to talk to you. I need your help. I'm in a class for real estate. I got my real estate license, and I'm in a class, and we're going to see who can get the most referrals in 30 minutes. And you know me, I like to win. Who do you know? Who do you know? Those are the key words. Who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Either now or in the future. If I can get the most referrals, you know me, I want to win. And if they say, gosh, I can't think of anybody right now, say, can I call you back another day? Is that okay with you? Ask permission to call them back. Okay? So it can be your safe people. When I took Ignite, I called my uncle, and he said, oh my gosh, my neighbor just told me yesterday that he's thinking about selling. I said, well, did you tell him about me? He said, I didn't even think about you. I'm like, Uncle, how can you not think about me, you know? I mean, I'm in real estate. You've got to keep telling the people, even in your very close sphere, keep reminding them you're in real estate. Okay, so is your head kind of going? I'm in a class, and we're having a competition. Who can get the most referrals in 30 minutes? You know I like to win. Who do you know? Who do you know? Those 4 words are very important. Not, do you know anybody? Because they can just say no. Who do you know? And it'll start their brain thinking of a name. All right?
Who do you know that has real estate needs at that time, or just who do you know?
Who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, either currently or in the near future? They might say themselves. You'd be surprised. Okay? So if it gets to be too loud and you need to walk in the hall, go ahead. But take little notes about how many people you called, and then when we come back, we'll report in. It's going to be so much fun. I know it's the elephant. I know you don't want to do it. But just make it fun. People want to help you. Hey, can you help me? I'm in a competition. If they're in their phone, they already know and like you.
What if
They're
you
in your
don't
phone
know
number.
anyone in Atlanta?
You can call somebody from out of state. You can also get a referral fee. Let's say, where are you going to be calling?
I mean, I'm new to Atlanta as far as, well, I can call some of my jewelry friends here. That would probably be an okay thing to do. But I'm licensed in North Carolina and South Carolina.
Okay.
So I've moved from those 2 states to here.
Yeah.
So I can call former clients.
Yes.
Or
Because,
agents that
so
I
you
know
know
in
that
those
you can
states.
get a referral fee. If you call somebody in Minnesota, say you have a sister in Minnesota, and her neighbor wants to buy something or sell her house or whatever it is, you can get a referral fee. Say, let me find somebody a fabulous agent in Minneapolis that's just like me. Let me interview some people, and I'll send you a name. How about that? And by the way, I get a referral fee from that. So you'd be helping me financially as well. Does that sound good? So you can call somebody in another state too. It doesn't really matter. Okay? So it's 10:40. We'll do 20 minutes. We'll go till 11 o'clock. See how many referrals you can get, and then ask permission to call them back again at another point. Okay, go. I call this dialing for dollars.
Shayla, how are you?
Hey Justin, good morning, it's Anna. Giving you a call. I'm currently in a class at Keller Williams and I need your help with something. If you could give me a call back, or I'll just call you later this afternoon. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Perfect. They want to help you. If they're in your phone,
They're my friends.
they're already your friends. They want to help you.
A lot of them won't answer, they're at work.
Well, I know that. That's, and I understand.
Hey Erica, it's
He
Rochelle.
just texted me.
I need your help.
What's up, Fiona? I'm
It's
at
really
work.
nice.
I'm in a
going?
class at Keller Williams
Let's see.
to call.
Good, I'm in a
and find
class,
out
and we're having a
Who do I
competition.
know that's looking
And,
to buy, sell?
I need to ask you, who do
lease?
you know that has real estate needs
I
in
could
Texas?
really use your help. If you're ready, or if you know anybody who's ready,
Has real
give me a
estate
call.
needs?
Of course, you got my number. We talked
You know anybody?
last night about 10 o'clock. So give me a call.
Hey, Martha.
I could really use your help.
Okay,
I'm
sweetie,
doing
we'll
great.
get back with you, because I got
Look,
this is a competition,
yeah.
and I need a lot of names.
Okay, very good. Well, look, I'm in a class right now.
Okay.
Real estate.
Talk to you later.
I want to let you know again,
Right now, and
I'm
we're
in real estate.
Hey Michelle, it's Janet.
That was a
Hope you're
commercial.
doing well,
Yeah,
and
just-
sorry
Oh,
I
I
missed
just
you
got-
last
Let
month.
me
We have
know.
the Keller Williams is going through a course called Ignite.
Now.
And I'm actually in class today, and we're having a contest to see who can get the most referrals in
Trying to
30
figure out how
minutes.
we-
How are
And you
you?
know me, I like to win, so I'm trying to figure out
Hey,
who
you
to
got
call
it.
that might know somebody that
I'm
has a real
currently
estate
sitting in a
need.
class with Keller
So if you
Williams.
can help
I'm
me,
actually
just give me a call back.
Or-
843-441-6272.
Yes.
If you're able
I
to,
also
give me a
went
call
to
when
this
you get a
amazing
chance.
store
If not,
called
I'll touch base with you later
London
this afternoon.
Accessories over in
All right,
Buckhead.
talk to you
Hey
later.
Barbara,
Bye-bye.
it's Rochelle. I need your help.
So anyway, call me when
You know, I
you
just
let
got my
me
real
know.
estate license, and today is the first day at Keller Williams.
Okay.
Hey, Randy, it's Katie.
All right.
I'm in a class where
I'm looking for people who are
Say it once
looking to
again.
buy, sell.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay.
I'm trying to call
I'm
this
in a class, but I'll call you later
So
regarding
you know
lunch tomorrow.
anyone, or you're ready.
So if you
Call me back. and let
Okay,
me
well, that's-
know.
that's-
She's a new client.
Just talk.
I can't do
I
that.
could really use your help. Thank you.
Yeah?
I'm good, HB,
Okay.
how are you?
I've been sending out text messages. I know every single one of these people.
I know, I'm in
Did not.
this intense class
Is there anybody
at
who's
Keller
not there?
Williams, going
No,
through this thing
they're
called
very
Ignite
well
that'll be
Okay.
through the end of January, so I'm
What
totally
about,
covered
like,
up with
your mom or your dad?
school right at the
Yeah,
moment.
my dad's across the hall.
So I'm actually in class right now, and we have to call people
Yeah.
to see if we can get
It's like
referrals,
they-
so I need
they
your
know
help.
that I
If
know
you
they're
know of
working.
anyone
It's gonna
who is
be like,
interested
why-
in buying or
why-
selling,
why are
then
you calling
you can
me?
refer me to them.
Yes.
Or
By the way,
you
that
don't,
person
that's fine
tomorrow
too.
could be able to follow. So-
But you know me, I like to
But I
win,
got-
so.
I got the facts.
I'm in a class.
I am on
board.
I also have a question about my torch.
20 minutes. So, who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or rent?
Oh, yeah, no problem, but I.
Thank you,
just
that's
know
all I
you
needed to hear.
Hey, Mr. Gill.
So
It's
on
Rochelle.
that
That's
new
good.
boss
Today
torch, Mike
is
was
my first day.
concerned because there's only
I'm
one
calling to
gauge
ask
that
for
is the
your help.
gauge for like how much is in
You
the
know
tank.
anybody
Sasha,
who's
but
looking
there
to
isn't a
buy,
gauge for
sell,
Okay.
or
how
lease
much
property?
pressure to be putting
If you can think of
out of the
anybody, call
torch.
me and let me know. You got my number. I'm
And so
married to
he's
your
like,
son.
that's not right.
And I'm
Worried
happy.
about that.
So call me and let me know.
So I was like, well, I was gonna call you and say, is it safe?
That was
You
cute.
are always
So,
take that.
I'm married to
take
your
that
son.
old,
Okay.
And I'm happy.
And I'm happy.
Just put the new one on.
Yeah, I'm happy. I enjoy
Okay.
his company. I do. So Jane already gave me a number, actually. Let's move on to Jennifer.
Yes, I saw that.
Hey,
Yeah, I looked
Karina,
at it.
it's
Yeah.
Anna.
I just haven't
I'm
looked it
doing
up
well
yet.
this morning. So I'm giving you a call. I'm actually sitting in a class at Keller Williams, and I need your help with something. If you could give me a
Yeah.
call back or shoot me a text when you get a chance, that'd be
Hello.
great.
How are you?
If not, I'll.
That's what I told him. I mean, I kind of just know without even looking down there
Otherwise,
anymore and what
Oh my gosh,
they're, you know,
just
what
having an amazing time.
pressure I need.
So
I mean, I could just kind of tell,
Sunday,
you know.
So I will see you then. All right, bye-bye.
I cannot wait to hear all about it. Well, I wanted to touch base with you real quick.
Oh,
I'm in a class
there you
right
go.
now.
That's-
We're in a
that's what-
competition
that's what
to
he
get the
needs
most
to know.
referrals in 20 minutes. Who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or rent? That.
Hey Jen, it's Rochelle.
Okay.
Welcome to my first day of real estate. I need your help. I'm at
No
Keller Williams,
worries.
and there's a
Okay,
contest
great.
going
Okay,
to see
have fun.
who can get the most referrals. So I
Okay,
would like
great.
for you to think of who you know that's ready to buy, sell, or lease property, and call me back.
Okay, I'll have to
my
look at that
number.
one in there.
I
It
could
might come
really
Tuesday
use
night.
your help. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was telling him that's one of the reasons to have the second torch, you know, is to be able to, if I needed to actually have extra
Who's that
power.
texting me? I
You
don't
know.
even voicemail.
And have two
Oh, I'm
torches
doing
on
great.
something like
Look,
you
I'm
and
in
I've done
Clifton,
with the
be real quick.
bracelet.
I'm in a real
Then I
estate
could actually
flash
do
right
that,
now.
yeah.
I have a competition. I am trying to find as many people as
Hey, Abby.
interested
Good
in
morning. Hope you're doing
buying
well.
or
Hope you had a good
selling or
weekend.
investing in real estate.
Hey, so listen, so I'm
It's a
actually in the
competition,
class
so
with
I'm
Keller
trying to
Williams. I think
get
I
as
told
many
you that I
as I can.
switched recently.
Do you know anyone,
And
or should I
I
say?
actually need your help with calling. If you could give me a text or shoot me a text message to answer that way, wonderful. Otherwise, I can touch base with you later this afternoon. But I look forward to talking to you soon. All right, we'll talk later.
Yes, yes, what I got for Christmas, thanks to you. And four different, no, everybody's I'm gonna call my uncle though. I'm tired of my uncle. Yeah, the tips, He's gonna be upset that it's taken me this long to call him.
Who can get the most referrals? So I need you to think of who you know is ready to buy, sell, or lease property, and call me right back. I'm your little sister, so you got my number. Bye. Who is that? You have an appointment, okay. Hold on, voicemail.
Okay, cool.
A lot of the people I'm calling, I mean, they just want to stay on the phone.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'll try to come tomorrow night.
And just
You know,
say
catch
that,
up.
you know,
All right. ¿Cómo están?
can I call
Love you too.
you
Bye.
Later.
you know,
So,
tomorrow
¿sabe quién
or
soy?
Thursday or whatever day works for you, or later this evening. Just
Monday?
set an appointment to call them back because you need
Deal.
to foster the
Me
relationship.
ofende.
But right now, you're just trying to get the
Right.
names,
Right, yes.
you know?
¿Cómo está?
Hey, is
Feliz
it okay if I
año.
call you
What's
back
that,
after 7 o'clock tonight or tomorrow morning?
Bien, estuve aquí, pues yo y
Saturday.
estuvimos aquí, los demás se fueron para
And then we
México.
can catch up.
You're
I'd love
very
to
well
chat.
branded. I did a
Y
search on
tenía,
your name.
le dije a Jackie que tenía pensado ir a visitarlos, pero anduve un poquito ocupada porque una amiga tuvo su bebé y les estuve ayudando a cuidarlo. Pero no, me quedé aquí con Jackie. Y también, no, aquí nos quedamos. Porque
Hey,
Ralph,
baby,
how's it going
it's
to you?
Rochelle.
pues, es lo que le
I
digo.
wanted
Can't
to
get
call
rid of
Que
people
tenía
on the phone.
pensado en
Today is
en
my
ir a
birthday.
visitarlos,
Open that door.
I'm
pero
working
como,
at Keller
como estaba,
Williams.
cuando
And
estaba de
at the
niñera
office,
dos
and there's a
semanas,
contest going
no,
on to see
no me dio
who
chance de
can
ir a
get the most
verlos.
referrals. So I'm looking for people
You won't
who
believe how much
are
this
ready
is.
to
Hi,
buy,
how are you?
sell,
No, pues sí, pero sí quiero ir a
Bueno,
visitarlos.
I'm in
porque
class.
I've been
ya
doing
son
some other things
jóvenes,
already.
pero
I'm in a position to help
I'll
you
tell you
sell
about
your
that
house.
after.
I have a competition
A great opportunity.
Sí, no, pues yo también le tuve muchas que le marque para ponernos de acuerdo, pero
When you get a chance,
ya sabe cómo se
Okay. What's this one lady now?
Hey, lady.
They have real estate.
Pero
Thanks, Al.
fíjese, le estoy hablando porque estoy en una
Getting
clase
into.
aquí de las ventas de casa.
I'm talking
Y
to
ahorita me
you.
volvieron
I'm okay with it.
tenía que marcarles a estos personas.
Wow, I'm
Y
doing
pedirles
well.
a ver si conocer a alguien que está buscando comprar
Right.
y vender.
How you doing?
Ya sé,
I'm in the class.
también
The people's phone numbers.
Great, we won't believe this. I'm gonna do it.
behind, que también está buscando comprar o vender.
And I'm in a class right now.
So
we're having a
I-
competition, and I
So
just-
this talking to you, I was weird. We just stay out of that range.
Do you have a minute?
So,
I know you
so
work.
I'm just looking out.
Cualquier cosa, pero no, se yo le digo a mi mamá a ver si podemos ir a ver si hace caso. Well, I just, domingos van a estar disponibles actually the most class right now, and I'm required to call. Voy a hablar con ella casi para ir a hacer right now. Les mando muchos saludos y nos vemos.
So I'm in Keller, I switched to Keller Williams and that's awesome. Even though I've been doing this for 15 years.
Sí, cualquier, si se pone en contacto con ellos, tal vez a buscar comprar, vender o rentar.
So what
Ya me
happens
dejas
is
saber
lunch
y
for 30
ya nos
minutes.
comunicamos.
And ask them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I knew of anyone that was currently thinking about buying.
No, pero yo creo que mi mamá
Jessica, this is collective behind. You remember me?
All right, let me
I
call
do too.
somebody else. I have some
Oh,
referrals.
you do not? Okay, let me just, I'm in a real estate
I like to
class.
win.
Thank you, baby.
It's a competition, and I like to win.
All right,
Do you know of anybody that's needing some real estate needs, either lease, to sell, or buy? I know this is a strange call. I know
Yeah, I
this is a
saw
strange
Courtney
call
had her
for you.
baby.
Okay.
So cute. Connor,
Okay,
right?
thank you,
Did I miss
Jessica.
anybody?
I love the name Connor.
Brittany.
I just called my vet. She said, this is a weird call.
if you don't know of anyone right now, will you just keep me in mind and call me if you do? Okay. Thank you. All right, hugs to you and Hubert. Okay, bye. Thanks. Bye.
Hi Lauren, this is Katie Miller calling with Keller Williams. I'm a good friend
Hey,
of Kate
Kenny.
Jackson. And
Good, how are you doing? How are you here?
Just Rochelle. Look out and see.
I need your help.
So I'll keep this call really brief. So I'm actually, so you know how I'm in real estate, correct?
I'm doing great.
So I actually just went to Riggins and I'm actually with Keller Williams.
Good.
And
Well, I'm at
sitting in
Farm.
class right now.
Oh, I know, I
And
know.
they've given us an
Look at what they
assignment to
bring to
contact people from our
Today.
contact list.
I'm in a real estate class and it's a competition and we're just trying to get
I don't know if you know
some
anyone who's
who
looking
might have real
to
estate needs.
purchase or
Do you know
sell
of
or
anybody?
even
Do you know
lease,
anybody?
whether it's now
You can
or
think
within
of?
the next 6 months, within the next year. But if you,
Okay.
Okay. Have you met my buyer yet?
Hey
Over
Piper,
over
it's
that
Janet
house?
Dickinson.
Okay,
I
they
hope you're
haven't
doing well.
contacted you?
That would be wonderful. I would greatly
today
appreciate
for
it.
Williams, and we're having
Okay.
a contest to see who can get the
Alrighty.
most referrals
All right,
in 40
bye-bye.
minutes. And you know I like to win.
Right.
So I'm wondering if
Okay,
you know
tell me.
anyone
You are
who is
awesome. You're a rock
interested
star.
in
Okay,
buying
cool.
or selling a home right now.
All right, thank you.
So
I'm gonna contact
right now, please call me back, or if you don't, please
we
keep
do.
me in
We need to
mind.
go back to the
Looking
Vito's.
to do a real estate transaction.
Yes, me and Elizabeth, we were talking about, we were trying to go this past Sunday, but, or Saturday, but with the rain, we decided to cancel because didn't seem like a great idea.
Anyway,
beautiful
hope to see you soon, and I would appreciate
Okay,
the opportunity.
yes, so I'll go ahead and send you
Take
my
care.
email address to
I
just so
wanna
you have
thank
it.
you, and I need you.
And
First, I
I'll
want to thank
touch
you
base
for
with
the
Elizabeth
referral you
and
gave
see
me
if
before
we
I
can
had
put
my
this together.
referrals.
her phone
I
number.
did speak to her this morning, and we are in the solution. And secondly, I want to say,
Awesome, Kenny, you're a rock star.
anyone
Thank you
else
so much.
Screening.
is ready to buy,
You too.
sell,
Bye.
or lease property, keep me in mind. Today is my first day at Keller Williams Real Estate, and
And I'm on
excited. Look forward to talking to you soon. See you at the top.
Hey girl. I'm in a class and I'm in
Hey,
a
Cindy.
competition. Who can get the most referrals
Hey,
in
I'm
20
just
minutes?
just calling you real
Who do
quickly.
you know
I'm in a
that's
real
gonna
estate
buy, sell, or
class.
rent? Anybody?
And it's, no, wait, but it's a competition, and we're just supposed to
Who's
let
looking to
people
buy, sell, or
know
rent?
to find out if you might know of anybody that might have some real estate needs.
Okay. Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, well, we're still on for tomorrow, right?
Your work.
Okay.
Good morning. I need your help. Do you have a minute?
Okay,
Amy,
honey,
it's
thank you.
Janet Johnson,
So
now
today
Janet
is
Dickinson,
my
calling you from
very first day
Atlanta.
in real estate.
I need your help. I'm in, I switched to Keller Williams.
There's
I
a
am in a
contest
class
going on. Thank you.
trying to see,
To
right now we're having a
see
contest to
who
see
can
who
get
can
the
get the most
most
referrals in 20
People
minutes.
are looking to
And I just wanted to know if you knew anyone that was looking to move to Atlanta, and if I could help them. So,
Put me on the
please give me a
prayer
call
list.
back. My number
I'll
is
put you on the prayer list.
843-441-2672.
Keep a sister in mind.
You know I like to win, so give me a call.
Do you know
and I'd love to
anybody
catch up
else?
with you. Take care.
Well,
Bye.
I have a solution.
Well, aren't you gonna do the screening for the credit?
Oh, Susan is Ralph Freeman.
Let's
calling.
find
Yeah,
out
these are
why.
people that
Class
I,
right now,
you know,
real
worked
estate.
with that are really
Talk with
close to
you.
me.
I'll call you. Hope everything's going well. Take care.
I have a way around that. Not around it, but through it. Because there is a way to buy a house, even if you have IRS issues.
Who do you know?
You know, and still address the issue and still move forward. So put that on the prayer list with a star by it.
Well, and I'm trying to work too. I've got a lease going and they've contacted me and I've got a call on my commercial.
But you pay light,
Listing.
gas, car insurance. So let me run it by my broker and see if there are some unconventional
Hey, Jim
ways to
Purser,
prove
it's
your
Jason.
income. So don't scratch that
A
off
blast
just
from the
yet.
past.
Put a star by that.
Hi, Lois. This is Katie Melcher, Josh's wife.
I'm great. How
Sooner or
are
later, I'm gonna
you?
get some cards made and give them to you and your husband.
Good. I'm just checking in.
Today's
I
day is
have
voice.
some
Who
real
is that?
estate right now, and we're in a competition.
great.
to go
How
out
are
with
you?
referrals
I am
for
in
20
Atlanta.
minutes.
Do you
I'm
know
in Atlanta.
anybody that's looking to
For who's
decided to go
I'm
back
sorry,
into real
Randy's
estate
looking
and
to
bought
buy,
a
sell,
Delaware
rent.
in the perimeter.
And I
Real
asked
estate
Josh,
in
if
the
he would be
Dunwoody
one,
area,
he said that
Dunwoody,
he
Small
was-
Springs.
He's looking.
And I'm in class
to
right
sell
now, and they were
buy
making
some
me
things
call
and
people
sell
for
it.
30 minutes running a contest to see
How
who you might
good.
know
So good.
that's
From
interested in buying or selling in Atlanta. Do you know anyone who's interested in moving?
enjoy your day.
I do.
All right.
Haven't you heard someone? Nice. Have you checked?
And don't
Please
be
keep me-
afraid to
keep
say,
me in
I don't know
line.
the answer
Right.
to that
So hard to
question.
start
Right,
over.
do some research and I'll get back.
Imagine like
Can I get back to you
anyone,
by
you
six
know,
o'clock
so
tomorrow night?
Good.
Put it
This is
down.
myself.
Okay. Or
Yeah.
can I get back to you by the
Awesome.
weekend?
I've
Or
got-
can I get back to you by 4?
I've got some new ones. I am going to
However
make
long
sure
it
that you
takes
get
to
those
take.
also.
And when there's a
then,
lender question,
if you need any contractors
about
like
qualifying
for,
and stuff,
you know, your
say,
renovation, let us know.
do you mind
There's two- there are
if
two
I
guys
share
that
my
live there,
lender's
right?
information with you?
Yeah.
Call Randy Lip.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
He
all right,
knows
thanks,
everything
Lois.
about
Who's
it.
Randy Lip?
Randy Lip is with Certainty Home Loans here in our
Let's
office.
give her another star.
Okay, so there's everyone there.
Because those kind of questions, you know, I say, I'm really not a lender, I don't know, but we have a preferred lender in my office.
I'm sure the blue
He's got,
carpet in
you
the
know,
kitchen is long
25
gone.
years experience, and he'll know the
Hey,
answer to that
Jonathan,
question. How can I
happy
share
New
this
Year.
information with you,
Doing
or
well.
your information with him,
So
whichever one you want
listen,
to do.
so I am
yeah,
And
currently
get
in
them,
class.
get the
So
conversation
I
started.
actually ended up switching
Because some
brokerages.
people who
So
don't
I'm
think
now
they're gonna
in
qualify today,
and
once they've talked to
I'm
Randy,
currently sitting in a
they're like,
class.
oh,
I
I
actually
think I
need
can
help
buy
with
now.
something.
I have the down
You
payment.
could
I thought
give
my
me a
credit was
call
really
and
low,
give
but
us
he said it's gonna be fine.
wonderful.
Yeah, they have one.
Otherwise,
He just
I-
got
Yeah.
inheritance.
Right.
He can't prove it. So I think I would feel
Yeah,
more
so
comfortable
I
sharing
actually went
Randy's
to school
information
with
with
Will
her.
Smith.
And
Because
just say,
it's
just
something
give him a
I've
call,
always
I
been
think you should
interested
give him a call.
Before we
Yes,
leave today,
so
can
I
you
like to make jewelry and
introduce me to Randy, or
stepstones
can
and
I
all
have his
that.
card? Okay, good.
So I do that as my little side hustle now. Yeah, so I just, I'm afford being, it is, you know, at the end of, I mean.
I just saw his wife in there.
I can make $1,000 at a show selling my
Yeah,
jewelry, maybe,
is in there.
if I'm lucky, you know,
Both of them
so,
working?
you know, I need to,
And their son,
it's for
one
fun,
of their
it's for
sons,
fun, it's not to
is
make
a
a
lender
living,
with
it's
them.
just for fun.
It's a family.
But I do have a
business,
great
so they're
studio
amazing.
in my house.
I think
I
we're gonna be
really like where we
talking
live
this
now.
afternoon.
Oh, today?
I
Yeah,
love
okay.
where we live now.
1:15, but-
It's-
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, yeah, they are.
It's great.
They're doing the
We
mortgage.
have a really cool
101
mid-century
stuff.
modern
Yeah.
house, and yeah, it's very cool.
We still got more minutes?
We have
Yes,
5
you've got
roommates,
about
3
two
cats,
or
3
3 more
dogs.
minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Time
actually
for
in
another call.
Sandy
Go,
Springs,
Rochelle.
technically. But it's like, there's like a panhandle of Sandy Springs, so I'm like in the panhandle, but the
Oh.
handle of the panhandle.
We're dollars for dollars.
So, up at the very, I'm right by Dunwoody Country Club.
Danette
Oh, really?
is a really good friend of mine.
I need your help.
She gave me your number.
So I'm not calling to borrow any money,
Yes.
and I
Oh
don't
my
intend
gosh.
it. So let's go ahead and address that right off the bat.
She thought you might
Yeah,
be able
yeah.
to,
I mean, it's,
So today is my first day.
not far at all. I mean, well, I'm right by Dunwoody Country Club.
And there's a
I'm like off of Spalding, which is like a big,
referrals.
okay. Yeah, I'm off of the North Ridge
Anybody
exit.
who's looking to buy, sell, or lease
Up,
property.
yeah, up 400, yeah.
Love to help you with anything related to
Hey Renee,
You think so?
this is Anna. Hope you're doing
No, it's like
well.
it's a funky split level. It's really cool, actually.
Okay.
So
It's got lots of
listen, so I'm
glass
actually
and
sitting in
big
a class.
In your brain,
acre
period,
lots,
any
all
area.
wooded
It could
in
be
the
in
back.
Texas, if there's one
Very
across the street from Jack Yates in your house.
area. Actually, Puff Daddy's house is in my backyard.
Wonderful
Much
that.
success.
Yeah,
All right.
otherwise I'll touch base with you.
Bye-bye.
Well, used to be.
But also maybe
You know,
set a
I
time to
sold
meet
it.
up
I
and
sent
grab
it
some
Yeah,
to
we
the
don't
auction
want
house.
for dinner.
And I got nothing
That's
for it.
great.
It cost me more money to ship it
calls
than
for
it sold for.
So if I can talk to my broker and he can figure out a
I
way
had
to
no
sell your
place to
house
put it.
without
Just
showing.
I know,
Are you
I know,
open to
but you
those?
know, you just don't know where life's gonna bring, and I was living in
Yep.
Beaufort, South Carolina, it was so freaking hot down
And
there.
then, in another
In my
week or
place,
2
I
weeks,
mean,
call him back
like,
and say,
the humidity was like dripping down the
Yeah,
walls in
I just
my little
This drill
cottage.
is perfect for me.
That
So
I
you
thought
just
I
start
can't
working
Put
on
a
something.
pin in
That's
it,
gonna be
and I'll
my
ask
holding.
him questions
You
and
know,
get some
I don't
information
know how that
behind
works,
it.
but hit a
Yeah,
certain
my
percentage of them
brother
every day.
and his wife
if
were
there's
there.
a phone there.
You know, I took the money
totally.
instead of
And it might have
trucking.
in a year or two or even longer. That's the hard work for me was always.
Because that all got
Just change phones.
So you want at
change
least what
phones.
you
If
paid
you
for,
for,
right?
well,
My old
not really, it's a
iPhone
slow,
died.
growth
I'm
down
dropping.
there, but
That
it
makes
really
sense.
is
Can't
so
see what's
cute.
going on.
Especially since you're not under pressure.
But
One of my gotta go.
That
bucket
fixed
list things
because
is
there's
to go back and
a
buy
lot of numbers
cottage
that are
Oh,
that
yeah.
I can
So I need to-
rent
I
out
need
and
to
have,
find
you know,
the
as an
information
asset
in
that I
that
can, you know, leave as
and
a
transfer it
legacy
to
to my
this
girls.
Um,
I just love
so
it.
anyways.
They're so great. Margaret's graduated
There's a lot of
from
people that come to mind
college
that
as
I've
a
looked at in
nurse
this
and
phone.
lives in
They're not there.
Yeah.
I haven't written them down. So.
She's on a
And I
Fulbright
could probably
scholarship
find them
there. I
on
know.
Facebook or something.
She's on
Yeah.
a Fulbright scholarship there, and then Sarah
Not
lives in
everywhere.
Los Angeles. She works at Reese Witherspoon as and I'm actually going to see her this weekend. Yeah, they're really they're
So I'll put a star by your name.
And we do have a
I know. I miss them.
I'm gonna pull up
So
the
far away.
numbers. See what you pay.
Literally, he's on the other side of the world from here.
Plus,
Margaret,
Texting.
she just loves doing it. I don't get her.
I
asked her to pull them up.
But she does. She's very
Everybody
motivated.
touch, and if you think of anyone else,
She's Mother Teresa.
I'm gonna keep you in mind.
She's our totally estranged from my ex. Yeah, she's. I'm planning on going sometime this year. My husband's not into it at all. He doesn't want to go. He worked for weeks and he doesn't want to go.
4 and 1/2 years ago, and we've, commented on each other's stuff for the last 4 and 1/2 years. She called me on
Yeah,
Saturday
he's,
night and said,
I mean, it's a whole other
we
subject for
want
another
to
day.
look at a home in our neighborhood. It's
Yeah, he's a nurse. He's just, he's,
I'm like, and sell there. I'm like,
he's,
girl, I got you.
he'll never know, he'll never, you know, admit that he misses you more than he
So,
loves you.
it's important.
Didn't come after me when I left. Well, they've both learned.
Understood.
They've learned his ways.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
you know.
Linda,
Yes.
could I?
Yeah, Jim sent Sarah a spreadsheet when she graduated
So,
from college.
well,
with
a
everything
friend,
that we spent our
she,
accommodation
a coworker, may be looking for a house in Newman. Doesn't know she's working with.
Isn't that nice?
an agent, but Newman's an hour away from here. What would your, what are your
take
thoughts
it.
on that? Still take it?
I would take it.
This is
So,
practice.
and-
This is practice.
And I'll say something in front of it.
But they're both doing
If
so
it's a
well.
referral, I'll go anywhere.
How is
Because it's a referral.
Oh, no.
That's what I thought. But then I
Because
heard.
you're trying to earn the trust of the person that gave them your name.
Okay.
So if
We make
you gave
progress.
me Tim's name,
What is this guy?
and I refer him to somebody else, I'm kind of indirectly saying to you, well, he wasn't good enough, or wasn't geographically desirable for me, so you're probably thinking, well, if I gave it to her, then why'd she pawn it off?
Right.
I don't care if he's looking in Augusta,
Mhm.
I'm going there,
Okay.
because it's a referral. Okay. Somebody else who calls me off a yard sign, I'd be like, I can refer you to somebody in
Okay.
Augusta, because I don't know him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yes. If it's a referral, I will go anywhere
Thank you.
because of that. Okay, everybody done?
Oh,
Okay. She's
I've gotta go.
So.
Gotta go back to class. I gotta go. Can I call you
After
later?
y'all
Miss Barker?
complete the
Yes.
application, you need,
So I spoke to my cousin and he's ready to sell, but he wants what he paid for plus 30%. He's retired
I will.
from Caterpillar. So he's
All
not
right,
in a
well,
rush.
let's
He's
stay
at
in
the beach
touch.
right now.
Yeah, I miss you.
But he said
Take
he's
care.
willing to
Okay, bye.
start the conversation. He's
Nice.
not in a rush.
That was
Okay.
great.
That's fine.
I put like several stars by his
He
name.
gets a gold star.
Yeah, let's color that
Yeah,
in.
I mean, I have
So do you
my
have his address?
ex-boyfriend from high school.
Okay,
who's
so
a
now you
huge
need to do
real
some
estate agent
research
in Washington, D.C.
and find out what
He's
did
like,
he
oh my
pay,
God, I know tons of
when,
people. I refer to Atlanta all
what
the
you
time.
think the value is now by doing some
Yeah.
comps and CMA and all kinds of information. I don't know if you know how to do that yet.
I'm ready for examples and instruction in that area.
There you go.
And say, hey, refer them to me.
Yeah.
And who knows, if he bought it 10 years ago,
LinkedIn.
it might be worth more than 30% increase. I don't know. I don't know where it is.
It's
and,
just like, you know,
what the
and
comps
he
are, but-
laughed. He's like, oh my God, you're in class doing this. That's so
But
funny,
you
you know. So
Can you teach me how to do that, please?
he knows
Even
me.
after you
Yeah.
pay the real estate.
yeah, she did bring the sunshine.
He's a hater of
you
my
know what's
ex-husband, so he's all good.
Do I have to wait for a class to learn how to do that?
You
Yeah.
need to either make an appointment with
so I just
Stacy
call
or with
it,
Terry
because I'm in this class.
and say, I can't wait for the comps class. I need to do this now. Do you have time to sit with me? Yep.
Thank you.
So they're
All right.
trying to see who
Good.
got the most
Good job, guys.
So.
Oh, she's just, let's let her finish up and then we'll kind of tell, share
He
what
is
happened.
doing that, but it turned out to be great.
I telling you, you guys, if you get nothing out of today, I know we're supposed to be talking about listings. If you get nothing out of today, I hope that those phone calls made you a little bit more comfortable, or like, oh, I can do this.
It's okay, you can think about
Totally.
it.
And you can say next week, I'm in a competition.
Today, so it's like, you
Could
know,
be with yourself.
I'm
Maybe
in
your own
competition every day
whenever,
from this
you know.
point forward.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a lie, you're not lying to me.
No, and they want to help. They're like,
It
oh, you're in
is-
competition? Oh, God, hang on
I
a
can
second.
tell you from now,
Like, you know.
for the next 10 years, there's a competition going on with this class. How about that? So now you can really say, I'm in a competition.
And they're gonna say, you sure are in a lot of
How's everything
competition. Right. When you should be working.
Yep.
Everything is good, everything is good.
No, don't rush. As soon as she's finished, we're gonna kind of report about what happened. So who was a little uncomfortable having to pick up the phone?
I'll call you whenever that.
I was.
We're about to start.
Didn't bother me at all.
Good for you. Rochelle, were you uncomfortable at all?
No.
Good.
She did great.
Okay, so how'd it go?
Good. Like one person who's supposed to be sending me their brother's number.
See?
And a couple of more people. Like I definitely went out to like my cousin in Chicago. She works at a law firm there, and my cousin in North Carolina. So, but yeah, the one that was my gold star was one of my HVAC guys. And he says his brother does a lot of investing. So
There you go. Okay, Tom, tell us about your phone call.
Well, I called 10 people. I spoke to 2. Left a message for 8, just saying, hey, I'm in a contest. I need some referrals. Do you know anybody who's buying or selling property? Call me back. Want to chat with you anyway. So, just keep that top of mind.
Open that door.
Keep me at top of mind, please.
Perfect.
And the 2 guys I spoke to, nobody came to mind. Both are thinking of people. One said somebody, but we both know him, and his wife is an agent. So I was like, is he going to refer me? But maybe they need to refer people to Atlanta. So that's
There you
a
go.
really good conversation for me to have. So thanks for Washington D.C. So I'll probably call James as soon as I get out of here and say, hey, if you guys meet anybody who's moving to Atlanta, keep me in.
Well, we can reciprocate. I'll send you my referrals to
Nobody's
whatever
probably
state you're
moving
in.
to Brewton, Alabama, but
You never know.
you never know. You're
That
right.
was really good though. Open the lines.
Well, and if you were a little uncomfortable, that's okay. It just needs to start to just kind of roll off your tongue. Whether it's a phone call, whether it's a listing presentation, whether it's a buyer, whatever it is, it just needs to start kind of. It's almost like working out. When you first start working out, you have sore muscles, and then when you've been working out for a while, they don't hurt anymore. It's kind of like this. That's kind of the way I see it, and it just muscle memory almost. So Tony. Tell me about what
A lot of people were at work and
I know.
couldn't talk or whatever, but I did get one lead for somebody who's interested, but they want to call the person first to see if it's okay.
That's fair.
That's on their.
Absolutely. See?
Yeah.
That's not bad for 20 minutes calling. What do you think?
I think it's good. Yeah.
Janet?
Yes, sorry, someone was just trying to FaceTime me back.
Sorry, I'm in class. So tell us about your phone calls.
I'm just texting them back to leave a message. All right, okay. So my phone calls, I called some people I know from jewelry school that are in Atlanta, and then I called and I talked to my instructor, HB, and she's like, can't think of anyone right now, but I'll definitely refer them to you. So she's very loyal. And that comes from, I had a party for her at Christmas because I think she's just the most amazing instructor I've ever had, and invited all the other people from jewelry school to my house, and we gave her a big, we all pooled money together and gave her a gift certificate and stuff. So I think, paying it forward like that, then she's like, definitely, would help me out. if she knew
Absolutely.
anyone.
When possible.
You should probably have known one of those parties, and now you're a real estate agent. And
Yep.
Anybody in that class reached out to me.
Yeah. So that was good. I left a message for a friend of mine who's a state representative here, and who's a jewelry friend, but she would definitely refer people to me. And who else did I call? I called an agent from Beaufort, South Carolina that I know, and left her a message. I called a coworker of my husband's, which I was not sure if I should really do or not, but I really like her and she likes me, and so and she's in charge of the marketing for their company. So all the new people coming in and stuff, she knows, like kind of
Huge
the
contact.
human resources person. And she's like, oh God, can't think of anyone right now. All my friends are having babies, but I'll keep you in mind. You know.
They're
And
gonna
I
need
mean, I
a
know-
new house one day when they have 3 or 4 kids. They're gonna
Yeah.
need a bigger house. So
Yeah.
you know, think for the
It
future
feels
too.
it feels like a fine line there. Like if my husband would feel that it was appropriate for me to contact one of his coworkers, but I'm like, whatever. I'm still a person, so.
Oh.
And then I contacted a friend of mine from high school who's a big agent in Washington D.C. and I haven't talked to him in years. And he was like, oh my gosh. So he's like, yeah, I definitely know tons of people moving to Atlanta refer all the time. Like, exactly where are you? And I told him, he's like, my sister used to live in Dunwoody. I know exactly, you know,
Huge.
where that is. And then we chatted about my and kids and all that. Sent pictures of your children. It's so great to hear from you. And that's an awkward phone call to make because I feel like I'm asking for something from him. But he thought it was really hilarious that I was in class doing this. So.
Yeah.
You may be able to refer from here to him.
Yeah, no, vice
Yeah.
versa, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good job. Katie?
So I called 8 people. I talked to 5.
Oh,
got
wow.
4 referrals.
Get out of here!
It
Nice
was
job.
crazy, and they all gave me the contacts. And the people are one of the people who gave me a referral was my husband. Like
That's what I'm saying!
and it was this HR person who already has my cards on her desk for her
So,
own thing.
did everybody, okay, say that again.
Her
One of
husband.
the referrals was from who?
My husband.
Oh,
I called my husband,
interesting.
he didn't give me any, I mean.
So it's okay to call your safe people. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You might think to yourself, well, it's just a number, and I'm just gonna call it because I'm in class and she's never gonna know.
Yeah.
Oh, and I got a referral
I knew
from
he
my
would
husband.
answer because I got like 2
Is that crazy,
voicemails,
you
and I was
guys?
like, I need someone who's gonna answer.
Well, I can relate that back to my business. So I've been buying and selling houses for like the last 10 years in home investors, and I've had people approach me and say, "Hey, keep me in mind when you buy houses because I'm an investor." And I'm like, okay. And I forget, and I don't put them in my contact system, and then next thing you know, I see them like 2 months later, like, I had a perfect house for you like 2 months ago. So why the hell didn't you call me? I mean, so
I
just
forgot about you?
just
Yeah.
so that's a great example of
I'm serious, you
why
guys.
why you didn't. I mean, you know, you don't even think about, oh, you're selling a house, okay, cool, and they're just going on about their business, not, you know.
So Katie's going to be teaching Ignite in a couple years.
Yeah.
So, Linda Barhumi made us do this thing, and
That's awesome.
And
Nice
the
job.
contact he gave me was the HR person, which is like great to remind her. I mean, she has my cards literally on her desk for when people are.
So
take her to lunch.
Care of her,
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
her to lunch, and then
Yeah.
take
now
her to lunch, bring her a coffee.
They're bringing to.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I
I mean,
had
something small.
I hadn't had
So
her
cool.
number because I didn't
So
think to
exciting.
ask my husband.
Very exciting.
She was gonna do it.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay,
Crazy
Emily?
how obvious that was.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying call
Every
your safe
single
people. It's
person who
okay.
gave me a person, all like I have lunch with all the time, but they hadn't thought to do that before, and I hadn't asked.
People forget every 7 days what you do. Every 7 days, people forget what business you're in. Every 7 days, they forget. And especially because you're new.
Yeah.
Every 7 days. So now your husband's not going to forget. However, you still need to think of him on a professional level as a contact, just like you did.
And he usually gives me people when they're ready, and they may be ready faster than he knows that.
Mm-hmm. They might be looking in their pajamas on a Sunday night on Trulia or Redfin and go, I got to see this house tomorrow. And they reach out to somebody and not you because you're not top of mind. So make sure you are the top of mind, even if they're not ready yet. Huge. Because the internet is so important these days. And they'll just contact somebody and say, can I see this tomorrow? And whoever's on the other end of that phone call is going to say, yep. Emily?
Most everyone I know is at work right now. I did make 2 phone calls to people, but the rest of them I was doing text messages. And I got replies on almost all of them, but I was just mostly saying, you know, I know you're at work right now, but keep me in mind if you overhear something while you're there, or if one of your colleagues is talking about it. You know, just keep me in your thought process. Since everyone, it's Monday, it's, you know, starting work week and everything. So, and I got a couple, you know, most people responded and were like, yeah, I'll keep you in mind if I hear anything. I'll definitely refer you. So.
Good. And all of those people that you've called today, keep them on a regular campaign, whether it's a text, a phone call, an email, a lunch, a coffee, a drink, whatever it is, however you communicate with your people. But don't just make it today and then that's it. You need to keep following up. Tasha, how did you do?
So like I was telling you, I was speaking with my cousin. She's a flight attendant. She didn't have any referrals at the time, but she did say that she wants to purchase within the year. So she would send people my way if she found anybody who was looking. I spoke to another cousin. She lives in Charlotte. She didn't have anyone either, but she said she would keep me in mind for any of her Atlanta contacts. And then my other cousin, she actually is a realtor here in Atlanta, but on the other side of town. So she said, you know, if she comes across anyone who's like in North Atlanta area, this area, she would send them my way. So we agreed to kind of like do an exchange. Someone's in her area, someone's in my area. Yeah, that was kind of long, so that took a good bit of my time. Yeah.
Good.
Working.
Well, welcome. And you are?
Chantel.
Chantel. Nice to meet you. I'm Linda Barhumi. You were not here for our phone call. We were dialing for dollars, and you can hear about everybody's successes.
Yes, ma'am. That's fine.
Except tell me one important thing about you or something that we would never know. We did that earlier. We gave, somebody danced at the opening ceremonies of the '96 Olympics. Somebody else is a magician. I'll let you figure out who that is. So what's some kind of a secret characteristic, something that you've done or do or?
I filmed and edited a movie in 2 days.
Wow. So are you in the film industry?
No? I'm going back to film school, but it was a 48-hour film festival.
Cool. What was it about?
It was about a group of vampires, and they were trying to discover which one of them killed the little boy.
Wow.
So kind of a genre mystery.
It was a film festival, so they give you a scenario like right before you start, and you have to write it, shoot it, edit it, finish it, and resubmit it within 48 hours.
Great.
So we got vampires, and then they kind of started improvising the script, and that's where it went.
Cool. That's really cool. So you can work well under pressure.
Yeah.
Good. You're in the right industry. Anna, tell us about your calls.
I made 8 phone calls. 3 answered. 4. I spoke with 4 actually. 2 of them, they have 3 people who are potential, so I'm gonna touch base with them again.
Wow.
So fingers crossed. I spoke with my uncle. He's gonna keep me top of mind. And the other one, he's actually gonna go and to his contacts, kind of shoot out like a mass text like, hey, and then touch base with me hopefully by the end of tomorrow. So
nice.
He's a rock star.
So make sure you continue to follow up with these people no matter who they are. Yeah. Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Good job. Ralph?
I made 8 calls. I talked to 4 people. One of them referred me to somebody in Florida, and another one was a neighbor who said they just listed their house with somebody else.
Oh, darn. Well, so next time.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Good job.
I called 10 people.
Uh-huh.
The first one was the termite lady on a listing that I had in McDonough. And then the second one was my hay man. He wasn't there. Third one is my ex-husband's angel who's taking care of him. He wasn't there. The next one's my computer guy. He wasn't there. And the one after that is a potentially new client. I'm having lunch with her tomorrow, and she sits on the board of elections at Cherokee County for the past 25 years.
Nice. So did you set that up with this phone call, or you already had the?
We already had
the appointment. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's just where, and I told her I'd call her back later.
Yeah.
And she said she was at her daughter's house, and that if she thought of anybody, she'd call me right back.
Nice.
Then I called my vet, and they said, wow, this is a really strange call. I didn't know the lady that answered the phone like I do the other gals. And then I called a former board of director of mine, and he wasn't there, and my fence man, he wasn't there, so, and my daughter.
Keep working on them.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay, Rochelle?
Yes, I made.
She was over here smiling.
Oh my God. 12
phone calls.
And
12 phone calls.
one of the things that I learned, it felt good to transition from just being your friend to a business owner to have that kind of conversation, and like you, to pace the phone call, because I called, I need your help, but they were just waking up.
Calm down.
So I had to kind of calm down and speak slow so they could understand what I was saying. I knew what I was doing, but they didn't. Yeah, I scared myself actually, because I normally have to know where we're going before I participate. This time I just did it, and I got a couple of leads. My cousin.
Welcome to real estate.
Right.
You don't have to know it all. I know you guys
Yeah.
want to. You want to know everything from start to finish. You can't. If you wait, you're not going to eat.
Yeah. My cousin wants to sell his house. He bought like a house in LaGrange, and he's retired, so he's not in a rush, but he wants what he paid for it plus some. I don't know how to calculate that. So now it's going to be time for me to practice asking for help, which I don't do very well. So
I told her to reach out to Stacy and or Terry and say, so while dialing in class today, this is the information I got. Can you show me how to go into FMLS and pull up the comps in that area, to pull up his tax records to see what he paid for it, what's going on in his neighborhood. Do I think, maybe, I said maybe you can get more than 30% over at what he paid for. I don't know the address, I don't know anything. But you can find out all of that stuff in FMLS. So good job. Way to go, guys. Anna asked me, you did.
all right.
Katie won.
Yeah, you know that.
Yep, Katie was the winner. You're all winners, though.
right.
Because
Right.
everybody made contacts, and whether you got a referral today or not, stay with those people. They'll give you referrals when they have them. They might not have one today, but that's okay. So Anna asked me, what if somebody gave her referral for Noonan, Georgia? Was it Noonan? And it's an hour from here. Do I really want to go down there? I said, in my personal business, if I get a referral from someone, I go wherever they want to go. I'll go up to Dahlonega. I'll go over to Dalton. I'll go down to Noonan. I would go to Augusta if I had to. Because if it's a referral, I treat them differently than if I had somebody call off one of my listings off a sign and says, hey, this house is not for me, but can you help me buy something down in Conyers? I don't know them. I'm not invested with them. They're not a referral. I may take it. I may say, I would love to find you an agent that specializes in the Conyers area. Let me get you a referral. But if it's a referral to me from someone, I'll go wherever they need to go. That's my personal theory. Because if I pass Anna's referral off to Ralph, what have I kind of said to Anna? Your referral really wasn't that important to me. I just kind of gave them to somebody else. I said, you know what, Ralph, you do Noonan. You can have them. I don't think that sends the right message to the people that are going to be giving you referrals. That's my own personal opinion. But,
That's a good point.
you know, yeah, do I really want to go to Noonan? No. But I will. You know? All right, good job, guys.
So on that note, though, I would go to Newland only if they signed a buyer agreement. If it's somebody
Oh,
in your
yes.
house, so buyer agreement, pre-qualification, and give them a search that they can identify houses in, and have them identify the houses. Don't you do the work for them.
And then I also say to people, I know this is not a buyer consultation teaching session, but I also tell my buyers, we're going to actually set foot in 8 houses before you make a purchase. Or 10, or whatever your number is. A nice low number. And they're going to say, what? No, well, I think I need to see at least 20 or 30 houses. There's a lot of houses out there. Oh, you're going to. You're going to see them on the internet. And if you tell me that you need one with a basement, and 3 of the houses you want to see on Saturday don't have a basement, I don't think we need to go to those. What if you do fall in love with it? We can't make a basement, so let's just take those off the list. Oh, okay, well, I thought it was going to be really cute. Yeah, it is. And you're going to love it, and then you're going to say, darn, I wish it had a basement. So set the expectation. We're only going to walk into 8. 8's my number. We're going to set foot in 8 houses before we find your house. Because of the internet, because of what you can see. You can see where it sits on the map. You can do Google Earth to see the neighborhood. You can do greatschools.org to see what the schools are rated. You can do the virtual tour. I mean, it's like being there.
That's how we found our house here.
Didn't used to be like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, so let's talk about the pre-listing packet and the listing presentation. So, in my opinion, having listings is top priority. Most of us start out with buyers and buyer contracts, just simply because maybe you do an open house for somebody, or you get a referral, or you have somebody in your sphere who wants to buy. That's typically where we start. But listings should be your priority as well. Work with buyers, absolutely. But you want to get to the point where you have a lot of listings. You get free marketing. Your sign is in the yard. When people search on all the search engines, you come up as a listing agent. It's actually, to me, less work. You know, you're not in your car driving around all the city with your buyers. It's a different kind of a work, I guess. But focus on listings along with your buyers, okay? Oh, here we go, more exposure. Your listings will bring you buyers. You will possibly have people call you from Redfin, Zillow, Trulia, ask to see your listing. Don't be the pop-up agent that gets a phone call and somebody on a Sunday afternoon says, oh, I just drove by your listing in Sandy Springs, can I see it? That's okay. Can I see it? Okay, well, let's talk do you have just a minute and tell me what you're looking for? Pre-qualify them. Don't just jump off your sofa and go running over there. I did that at the beginning, and A, you don't have a buyer's brokerage from them. B, you don't even know if they're qualified. Have they even spoken to a lender? Is this house in their price range? I've also gotten buyers from sign calls. Because I said, have you spoken to a lender? No, we're just starting the process. Well, that's fantastic. So I would love to get together with you if you're not working with a buyer's agent, and let's talk about the buying process. You know, convert some of those calls into buyers. Yeah?
For the referrals, say that they're in Chicago, do you do the pre-qualifications for them, or do you pre-qualify the client for the agent in Chicago, or do you allow them just to, like, how does that work?
I would probably just give them the referral and then let the other agent figure out if they're,
serious or not. Okay.
Yep.
There's a form that you need to fill out to make sure that you get credit for that person. That
So when I
agent will sign.
often I send that referral document before I give them the client's name.
Okay.
And then I get, not that we don't trust people, but you just never know.
And 25% is the normal fee.
20, 25, if I'm paying the referral, I only want to do 20%. And if I'm receiving the referral fee, I want 25. So that's kind of a trick question. You negotiate
Yeah.
what you think you can get from them or what you want to give them. Somebody asks you for 25, say, I'll do 20. See what they say.
I actually shared this with you guys when I was working in Charlotte. I had clients that were buyers that maybe I met through Zillow, I can't really remember, but they were going to buy a house from me, and I'm like, well, where are you moving from? And they're like, we're moving from New York, and we need to sell our house up there. I'm like, can I refer you to an agent up there? And they're like, absolutely. So I found this agent, talked to her on the phone, referred them over, and she went on the listing appointment. She said, why did you go that way? You realize I have to pay her a percentage of my commission. I was like,
how unprofessional.
Can you believe that?
The agent said that?
Yes.
The agent that you contacted?
That I contacted when she went on the listing appointment.
What
that I gave her. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, always get that stuff signed up.
Yes, and be very upfront, and I'm willing to pay you a 20%, or I want you to pay me a 25% referral fee for this listing appointment, and get it sent to them before you even send them on the listing.
Yeah, well, she didn't get the listing.
Well, because she's greedy.
She was greedy, and I didn't get the referral. Yeah.
Attitude's the attitude.
Yeah.
Did you have a conversation with her afterward?
I can't remember, so long ago.
Probably don't want to talk to her anymore.
Probably not.
So,
Cancelled.
so listings really kind of are, once you're a seasoned agent, that's really what you're looking for. But like I said, when you start out, you're gonna mostly have buyers, and that's fine, you know. You want to, I'm on page 13 now, working with sellers. So now you have got a contact with a possible listing, and you want to send them the pre-listing packet. And this is going to help pre-qualify them so that you can understand their motivation. You want, did she send you the pre-listing packet that says like questions that are on there? Let me see. Here it is, it's on page 14. How did you hear about me? Where are you moving? What's your motivation to move? Motivation is a big one. I always want to know that. I might not always ask all of these questions depending on how well I know the person that I'm meeting with. But I do want to know how soon are they moving, for sure. What's your motivation? Are you selling because you want to downsize or get a larger house? That's very important. Are you selling because, what if they tell you they're going to get a divorce? That's a whole nother ball of wax. And the listing needs to be handled a different way. Have you guys seen a listing agreement yet? There's a checkbox on there that says, are you in bankruptcy, divorce, foreclosure, any of that. So it's very important to know what their motivation is. And there are a lot of people that are divorcing and, you know, splitting their asset. That's okay. Maybe one of the spouses died. You know, is that spouse still on title? So motivation is, to me, a very big one. How soon do you need to be, where are they going for their next location? What could happen with that question? What if you said to Tony, I know that you want to sell your home because you're downsizing. Where would you like to be? What are you going to say? Just role play.
Atlanta.
Okay, so, I mean, do you want to be on the south side, near the airport?
Yes.
Great. Have you started looking down there yet?
Not yet.
I would love to help you look down there. Actually, if I help you find a house down by the airport, I can facilitate the closing on your house that you're going to list with me today. Facilitate that to close on the same day as the one we purchased for you. How convenient would that be for you? And I might even be able to get you a couple extra days in your current home, temporary occupancy, so that you can get that truck loaded up and get into your new one. Would you like to have that extra kind of little help from me? Would that be nice?
Good, yes.
All right, so let's set up a search for you on what you're looking for down by the airport. You could get 2 transactions out of this person. Maybe they're moving out of state. What would you say if they said they're moving out? I'm moving back to Iowa.
Can I refer you to an agent?
Absolutely. I'd love to find somebody just like me to help you move to Iowa. Would that be good for you? Yeah, ask for permission. So where they're going is very important. I usually ask them, do you have a number in mind that you think you want to list your house for? Some people get all cagey and say, well, I want you to tell me the number. Okay, that's fine, I can do that. But I just wondered if you had kind of a ballpark. Because some people, you know, their house is worth $500 and they want $750. And you're like, okay, so this seller has pie in the sky expectations. Or maybe they're like, you know what? I just want to sell it for what the other houses are going for in the neighborhood. We're done. Good. Now you know that they're pretty on target with what's going on.
So say if they're way off, do you take your listing anyway, knowing that they're totally unrealistic and it's going to probably sit on the market for a long time?
I'm not going to list it for $750. It's a $500,000 house. I'm going to be the one who has the hard conversation with them, and I tell them at the listing appointment, I'm going to be the one who's not afraid to have the hard conversations with you. I will try to do it respectfully, professionally, and in a kind manner. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a business transaction, and you need to be aware of what are expectations that are attainable and those that are not. But I'm the person that's gonna have that conversation with you. And most people are just respectful of that, you know, because the hard conversation is the one that nobody wants to have. So yes, I would take it all day long, even if they're unrealistic.
Learn that now, don't learn that later. Yeah, best to learn now.
Yep.
But you're saying you take it even if they aren't realistic. If they're so far off the number, I wouldn't take it.
Well, I would, because I'm gonna say to them, that might be the number that you have in your mind. However, I've done some preliminary looking at your numbers. I also never give a price on a listing until I've seen the interior of the home. Ever, ever, never, never, ever. And I tell that to the people on my listing appointment because I would say to them, I'm gonna have some comps for your neighborhood, but I don't know where you fall in there. The one 2 doors down has a Mac Daddy brand new kitchen, and I don't know what yours looks like. Oh, mine's great. Okay, but I need to see it myself to see what great is. Maybe they think updating is changing the drawer handles. Well, that was nice, but it's still original, you know? So at every listing appointment, I'll say to them beforehand, I will come with a number ballpark in mind, but once I've seen your home on the inside through the eyes of a buyer and a listing agent, then I'll be able to give you a better number. Okay, is that okay with you? Most people are gonna say absolutely, because how can you price something you've never seen? Now, if you've already been in their home, maybe it's your neighbor and you know exactly what it looks like, that's gonna be a different listing appointment. Does that make sense?
Sometimes it's good too to kind of give them a reality check.
That's what I'm saying.
Take them to the neighbor's house that's also listed that has the Mac Daddy kitchen.
Yes.
And say,
Which one would you buy?
which one would you buy?
If they're listed at 5 and you wanna list at 575, which one would you buy? And they're gonna, hopefully they're honest with you and say, I don't wanna do that much in this, why would I can't get $75,000 more than for this house, you know? But I would absolutely take the listing, and I would say, we're gonna look at the numbers. That might be the number that's in your head, but it has to be supported by numbers because of the what? When we have a buyer, their lender is going to make them get an appraisal. Even though you and I think this is $75,000 more than everybody else's, it still has to appraise. The numbers have got to show that this is the actual price of the home. Mm-hmm.
So, in my neighborhood, there is a home, I live in a 3-level townhome in Alpharetta. So there's one that's for sale for $349,500. And then the other ones are like $377,000, $379,000. So is that a big enough gap to be like, okay, something is probably wrong or different with the $349,500, and it's been on the market for months now?
Have the other ones been updated and this one hasn't, maybe?
I looked at the pictures. I haven't been inside of any of them. I was going to go and view them later this afternoon.
That would be one of my questions.
The same. The kitchen might have a couple of bells and whistles, but it didn't look.
I would probably look at the listing history on each one of those and see if it has maybe been under contract before and for some reason went back on the market, because that could make it a longer on the market or a lower price point. The motivation of the seller could be different. Maybe they just want to get out and they're willing to take less. It could have been under contract and there was a problem with water intrusion in the basement and the buyers walked. It could have been financing for the buyers and they walked. And now the people have purchased something else and they're motivated to sell quick. Maybe that's why. I mean, it could be a plethora of reasons that they're priced lower.
So I want to get your opinion. So 2 summers ago, I had a listing. It had been previously listed. It was 3 acres in Milton. So they had it listed with an agent with Harry Norman at $799. Sat on the market. They reduced the price to $769. Didn't sell. Took it off the market. They weren't highly motivated at that point. Then again, the next year they wanted to give me the opportunity. Realistically, we came to them and told them this property is going to sell between $580 to $615 maybe, just because how the inside and whatnot. Adamant, he wanted to get 7+. How would you have dealt with that, I guess, given that?
I would probably say, you know, the range between what the numbers say your property is worth and what you want are too large. I I don't feel confident taking a listing that you and I both know is not gonna sell. Because you've tried it at this price point before, and the market tells us what the value is, as well as the numbers. That's the other conversation I would have is, you know, even though we think your house is $515,000 for the house and the 3 acres, the market is actually gonna dictate what they're willing to pay for your home. You and I can look at the numbers all day long, but the market dictates what the price of your home is, period.
So if he didn't want to come down, would you have not taken that listing just because it's
That one is too
expectations?
big of a difference. That one I might not have taken.
Okay.
Simply because that's too large of a
Right.
difference. It just really is. You know, and when people say, well, they bought this property for only $200,000, so I don't want to pay $500,000. Well, real estate is almost like a stock. If you had bought Apple when it first came out for $5, you made a really good investment. Now that it's some of the $50, $60, whatever it is right now, you made a good investment. It doesn't matter what the homeowner paid for this property. It's what the current value is today. Think about it like a stock. And then buyers will go, oh, okay, I get it. Because I have too many people say, well, I saw on Zillow that they only bought it for $100,000 and now they want $298.
And that was only 2 years ago. You hear that a lot.
Yep, they
Why
made
should
a
they
really
make
good
$100,000
investment.
in
They
2
made a
years?
great investment,
Right.
yep.
And
It's
normally
irrelevant
those
what they paid for it.
appreciate about 5% a year, right? 45.
It
is a
depends,
general rule.
yeah. We're still on an uptick, or at least at a plateau right now for the past 8 years. So it's still a seller's market, but we're not in the seller's market that you can list something. If you price correctly, you should have an offer in the first 10 days. If your seller wants you to push, go up a little higher because everybody wants to get an extra 10 or 20,000 out of it.
Of course.
I say, okay, so we'll do your price of an extra 10,000 for 10 days. If we don't have, 5 showings and 1 offer in 10 days, we need to be thinking about a price correction. And go back to the number that I came to you with. Are you willing to do that? If they say yes, then great. If not, then I'm not taking their price up. You hired me because I'm the professional. And I think it's more important to price it correctly and maybe get multiple offers
That's exactly right.
than have it sit on the market for 90 days.
That's
because
exactly
you
what
thought
we
you
did
might.
with our house. The agent wanted 10,000 less than what we did, and he said maybe we'll get multiple offers, which we did, and we got the extra 10 we wanted.
Thank you.
Yeah, just because we have
So
multiple.
it's you're not blowing smoke. It's for real. Yeah. So tell them, I'm the professional and I'm here to guide you. And in my best professional opinion, that's not a very good strategy. Let's don't do that. Let's do it this way. I think this is the value of your home.
I like that you allow the numbers to speak to the seller because I just spoke to my husband and he paid, I'm sure, $565 for his home in LaGrange, and he wants that plus 30%. And rather than me damaging my relationship with my cousin, I would prefer to let the numbers speak to him rather than damage that relationship. And then in the end, let him make the decision based on the numbers. And have multiple offers and let that traffic speak to him rather than no traffic at all, because he's really not motivated. He's retired. They're on the beach right now, but he wants to sell. So which is it? You want the money or you're good? So thank you for that example.
Yep. So in your pre-listing packet, I think those are some of the most important questions. And whether you send it to them via email, whether you call them over the phone with this sheet of paper and just jot down the information, I would try to have as much information as you can before you get there. So in your pre-listing packet, your pre-listing materials are to build their confidence in you and to answer their questions and maybe some of their objections right up front. It's also going to save some time. If they've already had these conversations with you, when you get there, you're going to walk through their home and you can sit down and talk about the value, have your listing agreement with you, go over that agreement with them, talk about your marketing. I always bring a yard sign, a coming soon and just listed, both signs with me, rider that goes on the top, and a lockbox. I bring them with me because you'll find that you're going to have that one person every once in a while that's like, put the sign in the yard right now. I'm ready. Let's do this. Okay, well, I don't really have any photos yet, but I can stick my sign in the yard and get the lockbox on. I'll see how soon my photographer can get out here. We need to do some staging. Let's do that tomorrow. I'm going to come over and we're going to, move the sofa or declutter a little bit or take everything off your kitchen counter, whatever it is, however your conversation's going to go. And, oh, look, I have an opening already on Wednesday at 10 a.m. for your photos. So we could typically, feasibly be in the computer by Thursday, maybe even Friday of this week. And when you stick that coming soon sign in the yard, well, there's a couple things that might happen.
Free advertising for you.
Yes, always.
Create an interest.
Buzz, a stir with the neighbors, anybody who drives by. What else can happen?
You know, Bill, we were thinking about selling our home. You see, they're selling theirs. Let's call them.
Yep. What about somebody drives by and says, hey, Ralph, I just saw that there's a sign in a yard on Smith Street. What are you guys going to be listing for? Always go to a listing appointment with those things in your car and ready to roll.
Do you use the signs with the big white post? Because that's what I use,
I do.
and I have a sign company that puts it in for me.
If it's allowed. Sometimes in subdivisions like condominiums and townhouses, you have to use the smaller yard sign.
Right.
Some of them make you put it in the window only. You can have any yard sign in the yard at all. I had one listing up in Milton that I had to buy a sign from their HOA with my information on it. Because they wanted them all the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, how long does that take? She said, only about a week. Well, we needed a week to get all of our ducks in a row anyway, so it worked out fine. But no, I have this goofy looking sign in my garage that's, I don't know, Westerly Commons or something. For sale, Linda Barhumi, Keller Williams, Atlanta Forever. I'm like, well, and I'm never using that again. I might. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. So, what are you going to bring with you to your listing appointment? Tell me some things you're going to bring.
The coming soon.
Coming soon, rider.
Lockbox.
Lockbox.
The just listed writer.
Yep, just listed rider because you don't know which it's going to be.
Listing agreement.
Listing agreement.
Your presentation.
Your presentation. What else?
Comps.
Yep.
Can you really put that just listed sign there when you haven't actually put it in the MLS yet?
No, but you could go home. You could take a picture of the front on your iPhone, go home and put it in the computer if you really think it's going to go that fast before you even have photos. You can list it today.
Okay.
And then say professional photos coming,
But
the 13th.
And then you go back and put the just listed sign.
No, I would put it in. If I were going to go home and put it in the computer tonight.
The same day.
Okay. Because the seller said, I'm not waiting for photos. I like to wait for professional photos, but sometimes you put the sign in the yard and you stick it in the computer. You might sell it before you even get photos.
Yeah, and
The
other states that I've been licensed in, you're not allowed to do that at all.
What?
You cannot put a for sale sign up until it's actually in the MLS to treat everyone equally and fair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying if you're going to go home and put it in today.
Yeah. It just was, you could not, you're not allowed to do that.
Huh.
Because someone in the neighborhood, another agent could see it, and not all agents in Charlotte could see it. And so then you would lose your license if you did that.
Huh.
Do
Interesting.
you use
That I
Bridge?
don't know.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Go
Do you use Bridge Input?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's one of the best things that's ever happened to us because you used to have to go into FMLS and then Georgia MLS and do it twice, and it sucked.
Right.
Totally. And now you can do it in one place,
Bridge
so
Input,
it's
yeah.
fabulous.
And they help you over the phone. They're
Mhm.
great
Bridge.
people.
Yeah.
What is it?
Bridge Input.
It's
through your FMLS.
It's going to list in FMLS and Georgia MLS both
Makes
simultaneously through one input.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it really is. It didn't used to be that way.
So if we put it in FMLS as coming soon, and we want to wait till we get professional photos to actually list it, there's the coming soon status, and we can use that for 21 days before.
Yep. Is it 14 or 21? I don't know if it's 14 or 21. It's a new status.
21. Yeah, it's a new status.
So I haven't even used it yet. But yeah. Because really, if it's going to show up on a buyer's search, in my opinion, you really want the photos, professional photos, already there. Because you get the one chance for the first impression. However, it may be in a neighborhood or a subdivision that is so stinking hot that they go like this. And there's buyers that know exactly what the unit looks like. They've been in the ones in there that have gone immediately. I mean, there are times that I would just do a front photo and then the next day or two add the professional photos. Because also, here's a little listing nugget. When you first input a listing, it will go to the buyer's searches that meet its criteria. I need to quit drinking. That meet that criteria. Okay, it goes out in an email blast the next morning or immediately, depending on how they have their search set up. Okay, so let's say you want to give new life to your listing that's been on the market for 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, whatever it is, but your seller doesn't want to make a price adjustment. You can go in and move a couple photos around. Not the primary photo. You can never change the primary photo, so pick carefully on your primary photo. But the other ones, you can move them around, like from slot 2 to slot 12. And when you save it, it will resend to those people that have a search for that criteria. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. So you just mix the pictures up and then it gets resent? Wow.
Because the system doesn't know what you changed, really. You changed something.
You could have changed the price.
So go in like
If
once
you did a
once
price,
week and then move pictures through or something like that?
Yeah.
Love it. That's an awesome.
Yeah, so little tidbit that nobody ever told me until a couple of years ago. Okay, so in your pre-listing packet, you're going to have your All About You page, which is page 16. All the things that you're going to do for them. One of the things I do with buyers and sellers is I say to them, I'm going to put my phone right over here when I'm with you. And I'm not going to answer it and I'm not going to look at it while you and I are together. Because you're very important to me and I want to give you my undivided attention. And they're going to say, thank you. Now, on the other hand, if you try to call me or text me or email, and if I don't answer you immediately, most likely I'm with another client and my phone is over here. And when I'm finished with that client, I'll see that you left me a voicemail or a message and I'll get back to you. Okay? I just want you to know that there may be times that I don't answer your phone call, but it's only because I'm with another client. Okay? And they'll say, fabulous. I love that. And then don't look at your phone or leave it in your bag or in your pocket.
I also tell them if there's a time after, like at 7 o'clock, I don't answer the phone because I'm with my family. So leave me a message, I'll call you back.
Set your expectations. Yep.
Because you don't want somebody calling you at 12 o'clock at night. Oh my God, I thought about this, la. You're
and they
dead
do.
asleep, and yeah, they will.
They do. There's night owls and there's early morning people. I get texts sometimes at 6 in the morning.
Yep.
And I'm like, what
I
is
answer
so
phone
important
calls.
that you have to text me at 6 a.m.?
Answer phone calls between 8 and 7.
You better be on fire, or your house better be on fire if you're calling me at 6 a.m. Yeah, so and also ask them, what's the best time for me to contact you? Ralph, what's the best time for me to contact you? Do you have a job that you can't answer the phone during the day? No, I can answer the phone. Oh, okay. Or is it better after 5 o'clock, or, you know? And I also love to tell clients that I am in real estate full-time. I am a full-time agent. I am not a part-time agent. I'm going to be the agent that when you need me, I'm here and ready to help you. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to get the answer for you. Don't be afraid to say, wow, nobody's ever asked me that before. Let me reach out to my preferred lender, or let me reach out to my closing attorney, or my broker, or my whoever it is, my termite guy, and I'll get back to you. Can I get back to you by 6 o'clock tomorrow night? Does that work for you? Yeah, okay, good. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know. It's okay. It's better than trying to fumble around and make up something that they know is a bunch of bahooey anyway. You know? Just say it. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Let me check. So, on page 17, when you talk about the value of the homeowner's property, you're talking about the comps, the recent sales in their subdivision, in their area. You might have to do a 1 mile radius, a 2 mile radius. It just depends on where it is, what kind of property it is, and the criteria that you have to search with. Location is very important. You know, some locations are more desirable than others. Location, is it close to a major highway? You know, is it a price range that's near a major corporation that it's easy for them to get to that corporation, whether it's Mercedes-Benz or State Farm or, you know, some major corporations like that in the city. The condition of the home, and that's what I talked about earlier. Remember when I said if you have not been on the inside of the home, don't be throwing around numbers until you've actually been in there. They might say, oh, my kitchens and bathrooms look great. And you get there and you go, yeah, in 1985 they were fabulous. This is 2020. So, you know, we can do these things to maybe spruce it up a little bit. Or, you know, oh, I have fabulous custom paint colors. Yep, they're red and lime green and orange. So we need to kind of make it neutral for the general public. You know, that kind of thing. You don't know what it looks like on the inside. The competition. What's going on in the neighborhood? When Tasha was talking about, some of them were listed at $379 and then there's one at $349. You know, you got to kind of wonder, are the $379 people way out of line? I don't know. Is the $349 cutting themselves short? I don't know. You got to do a little research. But see what's going on in the neighborhood, because as a buyer's agent, I would say, why are they at $379 and why is this one at $349? Maybe we can get the $379 for $350. I don't know. I got to do my homework. But the competition is very important. So, how far back do you guys typically look for a comp?
180 days.
Yep.
Sometimes you gotta
6
go
months.
further.
Sometimes you have to. Appraisers start at 6 months. So let's say you get the listing, you've gone through the pre-listing package, the listing appointment, you've got the listing. Now you've got an offer, you've negotiated everything, you're under contract, it's time for appraisal. Your contract price needs to be supported by the numbers. So just really know, that's the other conversation. When they say, I want to list for $700, it's only going to appraise for, in my professional opinion, around $595.
And that's the thing, he did get an appraisal, but the appraisal tried to please him.
So an appraisal, was it appraisal for listing or was it an
Like
appraisal
his own
for?
personal appraisal.
Yeah. And unless he told that appraiser, I'm going to be listing the property, I need to have a listing appraisal. That's different than
A refi.
Because a refinancing appraisal is going to value much, much higher because the bank wants to lend them the money. It doesn't really mean that's the current market value, unfortunately. I know can be a little confusing, but it's very important. And then timing. Like I said, we are still in a seller's market. In my opinion, it's plateauing. That just means that there's more buyers than properties currently for sale on the market. I'm also seeing a lot of price reductions come across my email. People that are shooting a little high, and then they have to reduce to get the buyer's interest or get the buyers under contract. But it still is a seller's market. So that's a conversation to have with your seller. Okay? And the only two that change are price and condition. Those are the only two variables in there. Okay? So then we talked about pricing correctly. If you price at market value, you're going to get 6% of the people that are interested in your property will actually come and visit it. Buyers are very well, look on page 18.
6%?
60
Oh, 60%.
of the people
Got it. I was
who
like,
see your
60 seems
listing,
super
no,
low.
60,
Got it.
if you price correctly. Buyers are very well informed these days. They are very savvy. Most of them will tell you what's going on in the neighborhood. Has anybody worked with a buyer recently that said, hey, Tim, there's a new listing in Westerly Commons, and I think it might be priced just a little bit high because the other 3 sales in there have done this and that. Can you show this to me on Thursday? Have you had anybody call you and say that? Yeah, I mean, they're well informed. They really are.
And they've already done all the research.
Yep.
Done it all.
Yep.
There's enough information out there.
So-
You know, and we all know this.
So if you get that phone call, how are you going to get them to see the value of using you? What were some things that you could say to them when they call and say, look, I'd like you to sell me this, or show me this home, or come to me and I might use you for my listing? What's gonna be some added value you can give them just in that first conversation?
Negotiation.
Your negotiating skills? Yep.
Um,
If you don't have experience, don't talk about experience. Say that you work in a Keller Williams office. That's one of the top offices in Atlanta. And you have a great system for information and support if they ask anything about your experience.
we are
You have
going to
everybody
put,
here.
You know, like a CMA, so that you can
Mhm.
tell them what price range you think that house should actually sell for based upon the comps.
Mhm. So I like to say that the contract to close is where all the hard work comes. I think anybody can stick a sign in the yard, in your yard actually, and say for sale. But it's the negotiating that I'm top notch at and getting you from contract to close. Once you're under contract, that's when the work starts. When the home inspection comes and negotiating the repairs that the buyer's going to ask for. Appraisal. I'm gonna have an appraisal packet for the appraiser that I'm going to send to them or meet them at your property for the appraisal. Sometimes I take the lockbox off after home inspection so that I have to meet the appraiser there. If I think it's gonna be a tough appraisal, I say, oh, Mr. Appraiser, I'm so glad that you can go on Thursday at 10 a.m. I'm gonna have to meet you there because I don't have the lockbox on anymore. Okay, that's very normal to them. And I'd like to bring you a packet of comps. Is that okay with you? Oh, yeah, makes our job that much easier. And I meet the appraiser there. I'm gonna go above and beyond because it can fall apart from contract to close for many different reasons. And I'm the person that is going to problem solve when each and every one of these roadblocks comes up. So that's the value that I'm bringing to you, is the contract to close. And in fact, I have a contract to close coordinator, Darren Prindle, that I work with, who is also on our team and working with you and me and the other agent to get us to closing table. He's gonna keep us on track with deadlines, with information that needs to pass from seller to closing attorney, from buyer to closing attorney, whatever the situation. So we've got you covered from contract to close.
You're the
Okay?
20% that does 80% of the work.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if the other agent on the other side of this transaction is not pulling their weight, I'll drive the whole thing. I'm not afraid to do that.
Buyer's agent's documents.
Mhm. You know, I'm gonna be the one who says, okay, so we have an issue, how are we gonna fix it? We're gonna go over the top, under the bottom, to the left, or to the right? Which way are you gonna do? Because we're gonna fix it. To make everybody happy. And when you give yourself that kind of value to them, they're gonna say, ah, okay, so it's not just putting a sign in the yard. Or it's not just showing me 5 homes on a Saturday. Anybody can do that, trust me. It's getting you from contract to close. That's where I'm gonna shine. And I'm gonna ask you for a referral before we get to the closing table. Don't wait till the closing table to ask for the referral. Ask your seller at the listing appointment. If I do a great job for you, I would really love your referrals. Are you willing to give me some referrals if we have a really smooth and nice transaction and get everything you're looking for? Yeah, okay. So when I walk into a listing appointment, I typically put all my things on the kitchen table or wherever they want to sit, in the living room, coffee table, whatever, and say, I'd really like to walk through your home by myself through the eyes of a buyer. Is that okay with you? Yeah, okay. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Because I find that if they walk around with you, they're going to be pointing out the crown molding and, you know, the new faucet in the bathroom, and it doesn't really matter. I want to look around and I want to see what's going on. I'm also taking notes about what I think we need to do to get the home ready for market. All the bedrooms look good, but there's one that they dump all their junk in. That one really needs to be spruced up. Box it up. You're moving anyway. Put it in the garage. Put it in a closet. Whatever it needs to do, you know. But I'm taking notes on what we need to do for staging. So that's the condition of the home. Decluttering. There are companies that do staging. If you have a really difficult staging and maybe a seller that's not going to want to hear what you have to say, you can hire a stager. You can pay for them, or you can ask the seller to pay for them, depending on how big the house is, what the price point is. Sometimes I would pay for it. Sometimes I do it myself. You know, it just kind of depends on what I got going on. Does everybody know what staging is?
Yes.
Okay. Decluttering. I have some people say to me, do I have to take all of my family photos down? And as I walked through the house, I noticed that there's 110 family photos. Yes, you need to take some down, not all of them. But if there's only, 4 or 5, no. I mean, you still live here. We want them to know that you're people, and it's okay if they know you have 2 kids. That's fine. We just don't need the whole house plastered with your kids.
It's interesting because I was always told to take down all photos because
Me too.
people could be prejudiced or whatever, and they don't want to buy a house from a black person. I mean, you never know what could be going in there.
But not because of that, just because you want it to feel like their house,
Right.
and not
You
your
want
house.
them to see themselves in your home,
Right.
not think of you in there. But I also see, remember when at 10 o'clock this morning I said, let people be a little personal with you? I also think it's okay if they know you have a wife and 2 kids, if it's your listing. Or, if you're grandparents. I mean, I almost think that's okay too. So I don't make people get rid of all of them. But like I said, if they're plastered everywhere, then yeah. They need to be able to see their own things, artwork in your house. But that's just how I do it.
What do you say to buyers when they say, why are these people selling this house?
Well, I really don't know the answer to that question. If you're really interested in this home and really want to know the answer to that question, I will reach out to the listing agent and ask them. Would that be good with you? I'll reach out to them today, and as soon as I know, I'll get back to you. And I'll call the listing agent. If they don't answer, shame on them, or don't call me back, I'll text them and say, hey, I was just wondering, or my buyers wanted to know, why are your sellers selling? I mean, it's a valid question. It really is, but I probably don't know, unless I've called the listing agent first. If it's a listing that my buyer's really, really, really interested in, and I think we're probably going to see it and make an offer, first thing I do is call and say, hey, Rochelle, it's Linda Barhumi with Keller Williams Realty. I'd like to show your listing at 123 Main Street tomorrow at 10 a.m. Do you currently have any offers?
I do.
Okay. Have you gone under contract, or do you have a timeline that you have to reply to these offers?
No contracts in place.
Okay, so I can still show it tomorrow?
Absolutely.
How soon would I have to get an offer in if we wanted to be in the running to be considered with the other offers?
24 hours.
24, okay. I think I can make that happen.
Good deal.
Good, okay, great. My buyer then may say to me, oh my gosh, I gotta go today instead of tomorrow. What's the other thing they can say?
I don't want to be in a multiple offer situation.
I don't want to be in a multiple offer situation. I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah.
You just don't, it's a beautiful thing about real estate. It's the same procedures, but it's different every single day, every single transaction. It's pretty cool. I mean, that's the beauty of the industry, in my opinion.
Pretty emotional business.
Yeah. And you have to be able to stay focused and unemotional to handle the emotions of your clients and of the transaction. You could have, I mean, I've had agents on the other side of the transaction that are angry or rude or cry or upset. You know, you've got to be able to be the stable one on the phone, be the stable one in the transaction. You know, it's important, and you can tell that to your seller. I'm going to be the one who's going to be problem solver, even keel. If things get emotional, I'm going to bring it all back to the numbers and to the end result. We all want the same thing.
So to that point, I have a seller right now that we just went under contract, and I asked him directly, because we had it listed at 215. He said he wanted 165. It's a project. I mean, it's an as-is house. And so when they made the offer, I said, look, it's at 170. Do you want 165 in your pocket? Are you good with that if you walk away from the table with that? She said, yes. So I called the other agent and said, look, here's where we need to be. I can't do anything less than that. And she said, well, let's work the numbers backwards and see if my client can pay that. And I said, oh, great. And we did it. And I went back to him. I said, are you ready to sign if you get 165 in your pocket? And he said, yes. Then when the contract came, he's like, what's this, 187 selling price? La la la. You know, closing costs. I said, look, she rolled the closing cost into the loan, so it's a little bit higher. You know, like, what'd you get paid on it? I said, Sean, we spoke about what you wanted in your pocket, and that's what I got. Do you want to do the deal? Or do you not want to do the deal? Happy to do it either way.
Right.
I can call her back and say no deal.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And he's hurting for money. He said, no, I'm getting 165. I said, yeah, you're getting 165 in your pocket. That's what we discussed.
Well, and if somebody says to you, well, the difference in commission is what, a couple $100? It's not going to make or break me, sweetheart. I mean, I wouldn't say this to them, but it's not $1 million listing that, you know, it's going to make that much. This is not about my commission. I always turn it back to them and say, that's not even a consideration of mine. I'm trying to get you what you wanted.
And that's
that's what
my
we've
thing.
done.
I said, look,
It's the perfect deal for you. You can either choose to accept it or move on.
and ever since I listed, it was 3 weeks ago. Any offers? What's going on? I mean, so he's anxious to sell it, and he's anxious to get it off the books, and he owes some taxes and some other things. I said, look, we're getting all that paid.
Yep.
All that's been rolled into the deal. You're making your 165, and you're walking away. He bought it for 35 3 years ago.
Oh, Lord. That's nice.
How much?
35 3 years ago.
I forgot to give us a break. Let's take a bathroom break real quick. Can you guys do 10 minutes? Is that okay? Well, I usually do it earlier, but we just had.
It's been great.
And besides, I have to go.
I'm hungry.
Me too.
Hi,
I'm
Kirsten.
the only one who's, this is my day one. Is anybody else in here? Day one?
Yeah, I borrowed 2 cents whenever you have
Just take the
I am
Thank you.
just all for the information. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's an everyday learning experience.
Y'all just hate Linda, don't you?
She's awesome.
She is awesome.
Good job.
Ma'am.
There's a bag right there.
Okay, who is
Is she going to be teaching more classes?
Not in this Ignite, but we can make arrangements.
So this is under contract. I put it under contract. It'll show up. And I wasn't sure that I did, because I did it about an hour ago, and it hadn't shown up at FMLS.
Well, I think it's you.
Will it?
No, you have to go into FMLS. Or Bridge. Go into Bridge, and then it'll knock out both.
Okay, how do
Go to
that's-
FMLS.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Excited. So I was calling because today is day one of
Bridge.
real estate career.
Where?
Atlanta Dunwoody.
Yep.
Got it, okay, that's what I need to do.
I was calling to ask
And then I go to search, okay, I'll figure it, thank you.
Yeah, well, it's just like, you know, my listings, pull up your
Yes, it's
listing.
right here. So I click on it.
It's fine. I was supposed to meet her at the house, but I didn't get the message that she
Well, if you think of anybody you hear you like talking, keep me in mind.
Right, and then it worked, yeah.
So sitting in the house.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. This is my dream. It really is. Yeah, this is the jump off. I'll see you at the top. Hey, you got some numbers? You can
Where I like
looking around.
I think it was last year was showing, and because sometimes the clients will
Hey, Ed, it's
accept
Ralph
work
Freeman. How are you?
Comes over the agent. So the agent he had
Okay.
accepted it. So I'm like, okay, cool. 1 o'clock will be there. We roll in like at 1:05, whatever. You know, I'm like just talking, I'm like, okay, it's a 3-bedroom, blah, blah, blah. The wife comes out, and I'm like, hi. I'm the agent. She's like, hi. What part of you here? And like they all got out, or like we started chatting and whatnot. They're like, yeah, go ahead, take a look. And I was like, I'm so sorry. He accepted, as you can see, like I'm showing. And then he was like, no, it's okay, no worries.
No problem, I'm doing great, Ted. Look, I
No, well, they didn't even know. The agent just
You got on your
accepted
nerve shit.
it.
You know that like $60 when it comes to that.
And I was like, I'm so
I
sorry.
don't know him,
I
right? You know, I need to
didn't
know who was and where, how.
I had the 19th for some reason on
Yeah, I
my.
check
Oh, yeah?
I really do. I really do. I check because I see what you
I
do,
can't.
right? If it don't look right, you
Hopefully it all went
you
okay.
can call
I'm
post
sure. I
it out.
mean, people
So I
understand.
trust
It's
your
happened, it's
decision
not the
making.
first time. There was another time I went in
Okay.
accepted.
Yeah, I thought
when
about
started
this
going
weekend.
in
We were
there,
in Locust Grove at
the mom comes
Tanger
out.
Outlets.
She having a
I thought
She's
about
like, I
that.
know, but I don't want to
Trying
look
to
at my
reach right now.
child.
You
No,
know,
like,
feel
oh,
about
I
that.
understand exactly what you're saying, Ed.
Crazy.
I'm with you, buddy.
Education, license law is one of them, and code of ethics
Yeah, I mean,
is another one that's required.
Good.
I know, I mean, sometimes you always want to like help your office.
And like I said, I really appreciate your honor.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
continuing education.
And you already put Roots down, so we gonna become to level 17, so clear on that.
Continuing education on the south side.
Well, you know, I guess you've
I'm
been
sure.
doing that
I'm
routine
sure.
for a long time.
That makes sense.
Like that. So we praying.
Do I have a who?
Quick second.
Yeah, we praying because I really want to have a conversation, find out where it's at. What are your goals? But not just for you.
Yeah, kicking it off,
What are
still
your
trying to make it go.
How do you stay within
Specifics.
Because that's what I
Under contract.
South side, I was
selling
talking to
agents
some
make,
family
right?
because they
Right.
live down there.
Yes.
And I
You know, right now,
I mean,
I'm
you represent both?
with him.
No.
I do know what's going
try
on
to
with
say
him.
we just
I do.
Really?
So
Have a conversation with him.
I'm the listing agent.
If you have any questions.
So who's the selling agent?
They are.
Because that's not a conversation.
So
we
so
should
Robin's
have
gonna be the
with
selling
you.
agent. She brought
But
that.
I
I mean, it
definitely
depends because
want
like
to get in and
is it
say,
college park? There's one area that's like
yeah,
really
'cause,
nice. I was
you
really
bring
surprised
extra
at
package. This is buy one, get one
Why?
free deal
There's
you
one
present.
city. What is it, College Park?
Yeah, we rooting for you, baby.
There's
We rooting
pockets
for you. I'm
everywhere.
glad you pushed your back a little
Oh, that's
bit.
beautiful.
And Miss Andrea?
Yeah, nice areas.
Yep, you're a good man, Ed, you're keeping it going.
You know, it's
Jonesboro, but it's just.
this is the one thing I
It's
had
not
to
MLS.
be clear on when I met your dad.
I would say no, because
She's-
she
yeah.
came up in
All right,
there,
yeah.
like, if she didn't come up in there,
Today with no change.
what's the other
Never
one?
change. For the better, for the worse.
Okay, so
for
when
the
did you have a
better.
contract?
You gotta accept it just
You
like
have a
you
license
do.
agreement?
Take care
Yeah,
of
we
it.
have mine.
I'm
All
real
right.
clear on who I'm married to.
All right.
Self-reception, egotistical mama's baby. I'm real clear on that. So be clear on who you finna go down the aisle.
You have your,
You know we come with daddy
go back
issues.
to wherever
You know
your
we come with daddy
purchasing sale
issues,
is.
so we be looking for our
And
daddy
you're
right.
Yeah,
Do some
and look,
therapy.
did you bind it or did she? Okay, I would look at the date, because that's very important, because all your timelines start from that
I'm glad
date.
you pushed it back. I really am.
Whether there's due diligence, whether there's financing, whether there's whatever.
Do you have a card?
No, it's just.
Or you can start from that date.
Or I'll get your, I'll just change your information.
Alright, break up. I'm going back in the class. I do know.
South Alabama, you know what I mean? Every time you see them, they're always out. It's a little Yeah.
You got another card?
Oh, wait, yep, no, go, very last line.
Let's take that down.
Oh, no, you bound it. What's the date?
Let me grab mine.
Why would you let you keep it on the property? That's just so rude.
I went in a dot loop and did it the other day. thought that took care of it, I didn't realize that. 1.9,
Oh, okay.
so.
So yeah, finding out like more,
Yeah.
especially Northwest.
There you go.
This is going 9.
It's
Yep.
so expensive.
I don't
what's
think, I don't
the
think,
closing
I
date?
don't propose
He's
this
back.
date is first.
Okay.
South of 20.
And is there due diligence?
Yes,
Okay, how many days?
in 12 days, so
So, start on the
7,
10th,
Right.
14,
Yeah.
12.
21.
But it's crazy. It's gonna sleep.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, I think that's,
I don't know what her saying stuff plateau.
any other.
Well, I mean, that's why you need to have those conversations, you know?
And did you change the status?
Yes, I changed the status, then I hit that, and it said, okay, so publish listings.
Okay. And then just hit publish at the top right. There you go. There you go.
But they just built these
It'll
houses
take
down
a few minutes.
I was listening to
There you go.
country music this morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Country music always has all the answers.
So new to being agent, not new
Sold
to
them both for
the
over 200.
Yeah,
I was listening.
real estate.
right.
But I'm
Yes, you've got a leg, you got a leg up.
yes, I have a lot of experience.
Yeah, that's huge.
It is huge. I'm excited.
You know, and like I said, the procedures and systems are always the same. The same things happen in a transaction, but they happen differently
Class, I'm just not
with every transaction,
Yes, they do.
if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It does.
As long as you're doing something that's business, I learn something every day.
Yes, and you should be, because if you're not growing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't care if you've been in, I was just telling Janet, we were in the ladies' room together, and I said I was teaching Certainty Home Loans Wine and Cheese about referral business. My business is 100% referral. And how to foster the referral business so that you are someday in those shoes. And I had a couple agents that were 20, 25 years in the business that came and at the end said, Linda, that was amazing. I had forgotten about that I used to do this. Or I love the idea that you do that. And I'm gonna try that, or wow, I didn't even think about that, or, you know.
Do you have a checklist that you do with everybody?
I really don't.
There's also a full moon.
I really don't.
Probably.
I tell
for
people.
me, it's probably the best to do that.
Day one, I tell people, I want to be your realtor for life, not just this transaction. I set the expectation right up front. I want to come to your kid's graduation,
Don't dye your hair pink.
to your grandson's soccer game,
Your
you
hair
know.
never looked prettier.
And yes, we're professional relationship, but I want it to be more than that too. Because when you go to sell this home, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, guess who I want you to call? Me.
That's right.
And they go, oh, okay. You've got to tell people what you need from them. And you can say it very nicely. Did that sound threatening to you, or that I was putting you up against a wall and said, give me all your referrals? No, I'm just saying, hey, I want to work with you.
It's funny, I do that all the time, but then I'll tell them exactly what I want, and they'll be like, is that okay with you? Or, you know, like today I said, I'm sending you a listing agreement, XYZ. Please read it. Make sure you sign it as long as you're comfortable.
Yep. Call me if you have any questions.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, well, we're going to get started again, and hopefully the other people will join us back. So, getting ready to sell, the condition of the home, staging. I talked for just a minute about staging. Sometimes I do it myself. I always say to people, we have one chance for a first impression. One chance. When they drive up outside, it needs to look great from the curb. It's called curb appeal. Oh, okay. When they walk in the front door, it's the whole experience. It's what they see, it's what they smell, it's how they feel. Can they see themselves living in your home? And right now, I think you've got a lot of furniture in here. There's way too much furniture in here. I know it's comfortable for you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad that you have a lot of furniture. I'm sure it works for your family. I know you have a lot of grandkids and everybody comes over to visit. However, let's think about this as a commodity now. We're trying to sell your house. And besides, you're moving anyway. So can we put one of these 4 sofas in the lower level? Can we put, oh, that one's gonna go to the Goodwill. We just haven't done it yet. Let's get that out of here then. Let's get that done before we list, before we take photos. Well, my son's gonna take the other one. Okay, now we're down to one sofa. Good. How soon can you have that done? And this is where I would like that one to go. I want it to go right in front of the fireplace to really make that foldable. Oh, I never thought about putting it there. Yeah, yeah. I'm here to help you with all that stuff, okay? Or I'm gonna set you up with my stager.
That's me, staging.
You know, whichever, however it is. You're gonna pay for it, I'm gonna pay for it, whatever, however that conversation goes. But we have one chance for a first impression, so let's really make it count, okay? Okay, we're a team, right? We both want the same thing, you know? That's part of the conversation. We've already done the questions for them. We should have almost pre-qualified them. I tell them up front how often I'm gonna communicate with them. If you want to make it make it one of your priorities to say every week on Monday, I'm gonna send you, an update on the listings how many listings we had last week, or excuse me, how many showings we had last week, or keep you updated on the comps once a month, whatever it is you're gonna do. Tell them what you're gonna do for them, how you're gonna keep them updated, phone call once a week, once a day, I don't care what works for you. And then do it. You're gonna talk about yourself and your successes. What about your first listing appointment? Has anybody had a first listing appointment yet?
No, but it's coming.
Yours is coming,
First one, no.
Okay.
I mean, I have-
Janet, I know you have. I know Tim has, I don't know if he left us or not. So, how did your very, very first listing appointment go, ever, however many years ago that was?
Well, that was kind of a lucky thing because I said in class the other day, my very first buyer that I got, I was just out of real estate school, and a friend of mine at the office said, look, can you show my listing, and if you get the buyers, you can have them. And she was not really thinking that would happen. But they came in and they like, oh, we really like it, we'd like to buy it. And I'm like, ah! So then I ran to the car and got my book out.
I don't know what to do, but I'll get right back to you.
No, I just said, you want to write it off? And I actually got my book out from the car.
That's right.
And they thought that
That's
was so
right.
funny. And they liked me and my honesty. And they said, we also want you to list our house.
That's how I got my first listing too. I met a buyer at somebody else's open house, and we didn't buy that house. But I said, well, maybe this is not your perfect house, but are you working with an agent to find your perfect house? Nope, we're not. If I'd love to be that agent. I want you to sign a buyer's agency agreement with me. Are you good with that? Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. And I'm sure you know, and I always say that like this, and I'm sure you know that as a buyer, you don't pay any real estate commissions. The seller pays the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. You wouldn't believe how many people say, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
I don't pay any?
Yeah, yeah.
I can have you for free? Well, I'm not free, but the seller's gonna pay for me. Wow, I didn't know that. You will be shocked at the people who don't know that. I mean, think back before you went real estate school. Did you really know that? No. I mean, tell them.
And some buyers think by not using an agent that they're saving money when the other one's making 6%.
Okay,
Listing agent.
so what would you say to a buyer that says, I know, but if I don't use you, then maybe that 3% they'll take off the purchase price. That's what I'm thinking. What would you say to that buyer?
That's likely not going to happen. They're still going to charge you that amount. And then you're cheating yourself because you don't have anybody to represent you, to
Suicide.
negotiate for you, to follow up with your vendors, and to protect your interests.
Perfect. Have you been in real estate before?
I've had an active license. I moved back to New York.
I can tell.
So
Because that's exactly what you need to say. Why would you go to court without a lawyer? Would you do that? I wouldn't. So why would you go in as the buyer who all of the due diligence is on the buyer? It's not on the seller. It's on the buyer. There's inspections that we need to check for. Do you know anything about radon? What do you know about home inspections? What do you know about the lifetime of a roof? You know, do you have a lender? There's so many things, especially on the buy side, that you need somebody to drive that transaction for you, and I'm the one that can do it. You don't have to pay anything. It's very important, especially as a buyer, that you have somebody like me. And then I say this, and if you don't use me, please at least use another real estate agent as your. If for some reason you're not comfortable with me, please do not go in unrepresented. And that'll get you buyers too. You wouldn't think it would, that you're offering up somebody else instead of you, but it just shows that you really believe it's really important that they use someone. Even if it's not me, you've got to have somebody looking out for your interests. Because I'm here to tell you, the listing agent is not gonna be. Because who's her client or his client?
The seller.
The seller.
I think to a lot of buyers that are new, they don't realize like it for new homes that they can still use an agent.
Yeah.
They've got that on-site agent and they think, oh, well, that on-site agent's going to take care of everything, but they represent the
The
builder.
seller. The builder.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
They're not gonna find out until they get a loan that's been bought down, and in year 5, their mortgage payment goes from $800 to $1,600.
Hopefully not anymore.
Oh my! I buy down. Oh
All right, so I kind of skipped a bunch of that stuff about walking through the home and your tour. You've gone on your listing appointment. In Command, there is a listing presentation already there for you. You'll see that it's noted pages 37, I think. On is what you can either print, email, or bring with you on your laptop to your listing appointment. Conditions, marketing. There's all about, once we put it into the Keller Williams listing site, it goes out to all of the online, Trulia, Zillow, Redfin, all of those sites directly from us. That's included when you hire me to be your listing agent. Price, comps, recommended price, then you go to the listing agreement. So, has anybody ever filled out a seller's property disclosure?
Yes.
Okay, do you know what they look like? Looks like this. I always print a copy and bring with me. If they want to do it there with me verbally and do it by hand, that's fine. I also ask them, would you like me to send it to you electronically through the system that we use for all of our signatures, for you to fill this electronically and sign it? Which one would you prefer? Sometimes they want to do it, if they're an older person, sorry, I am an older person, but some people want you to do it for them, and you say, what year was it constructed, yes or no, you know, all of it, and then physically sign it in front of you. You can do that. Or you can send it electronically. When you send it electronically, only send it to one of the people if there's 2 people on the listing agreement. So I would say, so Tom, do you or Tony, which one of you wants to fill it out? Well, Tom, I want to fill it out. Okay, so I'm going to send it to you first, and you'll have access through the system. I'm going to give you access to fill and sign. Then once you're done, you sign it and you hit I'm done, and it'll come back to me. Then I'll send it to Tony, and you'll only have access to sign it. You will not be able to change anything on that, okay? And then I'll ask them, how do you want to do this? Every home needs a seller's property disclosure. Only the ones who have a community association or HOA fees have to do the community association disclosure. There'll be some homes that don't have it, but pretty much everybody needs this one. Okay?
If it's a brand new build, are there disclosures?
If they're going to have it built, no.
Like I'm presenting to a builder, so I'm just wondering, like, would they fill out the seller's disclosure?
No. Is it already completed though?
They're finishing it. It's almost complete.
If it's complete, I would probably say yes. But if it's a build like for your client or incomplete, then no, they won't have one.
It'll be
Does that make
complete.
sense? Oh, okay.
It'll be a
Then I would
totally
do
done
one,
one
yes.
that we'll be putting on the market.
Yes, then I would do one.
Okay.
I would do one. So once I go under contract, then I put one of these important dates. You get it from FMLS, or it's in .loop or Command or wherever you're doing the things. And then I print and put on here so I know all my timelines. It has the binding agreement date. You need to do this for the one you just went under contract on. Do your binding agreement date, when the earnest money is due, and has it been received. I get a copy of that.
Is that still a disclosure?
This is reminder appointment dates.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And I put it on the front page of my folder, and then I have the entire binding agreement in here. So this is a listing that I have, and we're not under contract yet. We just got an offer on Saturday, but I expect to be soon. So currently, it just has the listing agreement and comps and all that in here. Then once we go under contract, I'll put a copy of the entire purchase and sale, any other pertinent documents, the loan exhibit, everything that's part of the binding agreement, and then my cover sheet on here, so that I have it with me. And when I go to the house, or, you know, to see my client, I bring this with me. I'm still one of those that likes to print things, because if we're gonna meet at Starbucks, I don't wanna be paging through my phone and trying to find out, well, when is the due diligence over? Who was the lender again? It's all on my cover sheet. Who the lender is, who the closing attorney is, all the timelines, all of that. That's how I keep myself organized.
So you don't go to FMLS to get your documents? You go to mykw.kw.com?
Yeah, well, I actually need to take the command classes. That's what I was asking Stacy about earlier. I haven't taken any command classes. I currently do it in .loop, and then I share the loop with my transaction coordinator, and he kind of handles everything from there. And the day that you can do that is going to free up a lot of time that you used to do trying to get paperwork and deadlines and watching that kind of stuff. Now you're going to be lead generating, phone calling,
making more money,
shaking hands, kissing babies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a beautiful day when you can do that.
So
And he only charges like $345 a transaction, and he gets paid from our office. I don't even miss it.
Now who is
I mean,
this?
Darren Prindle with U times 2. YOU times 2, I think is the name of his
TWO?
company. Yeah.
And
There might be a number 2. I don't remember.
And the name again?
Darren Prindle. Prindle. And I tell you what, do you have a transaction coordinator?
No, not yet.
Well, when you're busy enough to need one, you're gonna go, oh my God, I should have done this from day one.
I've talked to him already.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm like, why did I wait so long? You know?
It's totally worth it.
Oh yes, it sure is.
Excuse me, I heard you mention .loop and KW Command. Are these apps or websites, or what are these?
There are websites in Keller Williams. So you're going to get a login and a password for the Keller Williams website. And it's going to have everything from a training calendar to Command, where you're going to put all of your contacts, where you're going to pull up all the documents from FMLS when you need to do a listing agreement or a buyer brokerage agreement or write an offer, whatever it is. They're all accessible through there.
Thank you.
It will have reports on you personally. You can look up your reports and see how many transactions you did in the last, whatever you tell it, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, whatever you want to tell it. You tell it, and it's going to tell you your volume, what you've paid, what you've received. I mean, it's just a wealth of knowledge.
Excellent.
All kinds of. You'll also find training, like Ignite is in there. Videos, training videos for anything you can think of. You just search it, and you can sit at home in your jammies with a cup of tea and
make millions.
Yeah.
Great.
So on page 65, you're going to tell your, so now let's say you've got the listing. they've said, we're gonna sign with you, they've signed the listing agreement, you've given them the seller's property disclosure, or agreed to send them electronically, whichever one you choose. You're gonna tell them when you're gonna put the sign in the yard, if you're gonna do it today or if you're gonna wait. Maybe it's gonna take 2 weeks for you to get everything staged and they're gonna paint and, you know, but have a date in mind so that they don't just put it off and put it off. When you're gonna put the lockbox on, when you're gonna list it for sale, when the photos are, what you're gonna do on the first open house, and when will that be. There's some sellers who like open houses and some who don't. I seem to have a lot of sellers who say, I really don't want to do an open house because I think just my neighbor's going to come, poking around just to see what it looks like. What would you say to that seller?
They could be potential buyers.
Yes! We want your neighbors to come in. No, we don't. I don't like my neighbors. I know, but what if they have a family member or a coworker or somebody who's dying to get into this neighborhood? Don't you want them to be the first ones here at the open house and say to you, oh my gosh, I think my brother-in-law is going to love this house? Yes, we do want your neighbors here. Please change your mindset a little bit. Today, Kirsten, you don't really want your neighbors here? I'm dying to have your neighbors here. In fact, I'm going to knock on their door and personally invite them. So let's try to change that mindset a little bit. Are we with me here? You get where I'm coming from? Try to talk them into that. So in my experience, you don't really sell the house at an open house, but it makes your seller believe that you're working for them, you're working hard. It's out to all of the online sites. Unrepresented buyers are going to come in, and I'm very honest with them and say, we probably won't sell your home on any open houses, but we're going to have a lot of exposure, and quite honestly, I'm looking for buyers. I'm always looking to expand my business. And this might not be the home for some buyers that come through here, but I'm going to offer to represent them and help them buy a home that's perfect for them. And I just tell them right up front, and they go, oh, okay. They really don't want an open house, that's fine. It's not going to kill you guys, trust me. And you don't have to have 25 open houses either. Just speak to each seller individually and see what they like. So then, you're going to give them a moving checklist on things, and this is something that your transaction coordinator will do as well, is help you, whether it's the seller or the buyer, that's your client, to say to them, if you have the buyer, hey, Mr. Seller, please tell us who you're using for utilities so that we can get them set up for the day of closing, or the day after closing, or whatever they're going to do. It's another added value from you. So, you guys will be doing a listing presentation in Ignite for a property. I'm guessing you'll probably present to Stacy. Did she tell you that already?
No.
You will be. But don't be nervous. Don't be afraid. It's a learning exercise.
Do we just front of class?
No. You're going to go to the location. They actually did it at my house once, one of the Ignite classes. Stacy called me and said, I don't know if it was Stacy, it might have been Susan Brown, I don't remember who it was, that said, can I use your house? Because I had a house right over here in Sandy Springs, right off of Abernathy. And I said, sure. And I said, and I'm going to put a bunch of junk in one of my bedrooms and see how many people have the guts to say to you, hey Susan, your house looks amazing, but that one bedroom, we really need to work on that. It looks kind of like a dumping place. So how can we make that look better? And every single one of them said it. So it's going to be role play at the highest level, and it's only to help you. Don't be nervous. Don't be afraid. It almost makes your first real listing presentation not your first. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You'll have done it already. You're going to go to the property. It could be her house. It could be somebody else's. I don't know. You're going to have to do all the preliminary, call her ahead of time to confirm, send her the documentation that you want to send her, however you're going to do your presentations. it's gonna be like, it's a real live listing. And I was scared to death to do my first one with, Susan Brown was the assistant team leader at the time. And it went fine. And then when I had my first one, I didn't feel like it was the first time. You know, I felt like, oh, I've done this before. So, any questions about a listing presentation or the pre-listing packet? Or
So when you set the appointment, do you go ahead and email out the pre-listing packet that day?
I would.
Okay. And then that's it.
I would. And just say, hey, if you could get this back to me in the next 48 hours, whatever your time frame is, 24 hours. I'd love to know a little bit more about you before we meet on Thursday.
Okay.
You know?
And the pre-listing packet is with the presentation in command?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh, is the packet in there? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I thought you meant, are they the same thing? Yes, it's in there. Stacy pulled it up earlier, but do you guys want to see where it is?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go get her, and she can show you where it is, because I don't know where it is. I gotta learn command.
So do we.
It's not working right now, command.
It's not working.
Gotta be an Airbnb, doesn't it?
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. So can you pull up command and show us where the pre-listing packet is, as well as the listing presentation?
There is not a pre-list.
So no, there is not a pre-listing packet.
I don't think it's working. I heard it wasn't working, and now it's not working.
So, but it's
online.
in here, Kirsten, that you can either just put it in the form of an email and just say, hey, can you answer just a couple questions for me so I can, prepare ahead of time type thing? Let me see.
And I'm going to show you my Google Forms buyer questionnaire, and surely we can do something comparable for listings. All right, I'll go back to the beginning.
Look on page 15 of section 4. It says this is your pre-listing packet. And then it says the first page is all about you. Then it talks about, remember when we talked about location, comps, condition, timing, price? This has got to be somewhere though.
Oh yeah, it's on the Ignite.
Oh, there you go.
When we went to Ignite, My KW Education, Ignite.
There you go.
And then student resources, and
Yeah, you're just
scroll
gonna
down and
start messing around with that.
Okay, command, agent.kw.com. This is the landing page. I'm gonna click the red so I show what my applets are. I'm coming down here to designs. And I'm gonna pick print. And I don't know that I've saved one, so you can always just click the plus in the lower right. And I'm gonna create a design, but I'm not really creating it. All right, the reason this login came in, again, is because I'm gonna be shifted over to a site, a company called WeBrand.com, but it's only for Keller Williams agents, at least where we're going. Aha! So now this is where the fun. So templates, I'm gonna go all the way down here to listing presentations. And there are 2 templates. And I honestly don't remember, since they're both 27 pages, modern and classic. So I'm gonna click on use, and
Oh, I told them they're going to be doing a listing presentation before this is over. I said, did she tell you that? They go, nope. I said, well, you are.
Because I've changed.
Oh, you're not?
Well, we can. I didn't do it last
Sorry.
time. It's okay. We'll get back to you on that. So I do know that with this listing presentation, I believe that you have to click this plus to then make it part. So all these 27 pages, you don't have to use them all. You can go shopping. And
Like if you don't have a lot of experience, leave that page out when it talks about,
Right.
or if you don't have client testimonials, just leave that page out.
I'm gonna pull in the process page, see what that looks like. Let's see. Well, it sure is not really making it legible. Sorry about that. Didn't benefit. I can hardly read what this says,
I
but
can't either.
Zoom out again. Can you click the minus sign more?
I'm sorry, say again?
Can you click the minus sign anymore?
Minus.
On the Zoom?
Out or in?
Because when you click the plus sign and it got smaller. You know.
Well, I'll read it to you. Initial meeting, walkthrough and needs analysis, sign listing agreement, prepare your property for sale, staging, photography, etc. Launch, coming soon, marketing campaign, establish a competitive price, officially list your property, launch, just listed, marketing campaign. So, did you mention the 14-point marketing plan? Nope. Okay. I don't, this is a 14-point marketing plan. Not everybody does all these things. So don't be talking about a 14-point marketing plan if you've got a 10-point. For instance, sometimes it doesn't make sense. This just listed marketing campaign, it costs money. That means you're gonna mail postcards to the entire neighborhood and elsewhere promoting it. Sometimes that's ineffective, not appropriate, just depending, is it a home, a condo? What if the neighborhood is 800 homes? So, that's, the point is that you decide what's gonna be your regular, at least you got the basic model, you can have a deluxe, whatever. Count up how many points is, and that'll be your 7-point marketing plan. The point is to have a plan, and so when you're, meeting with the seller, how are you gonna market my house? How are you gonna sell my house? Put the steps into the form of a plan. Anyway, that's what that's all about. So yes, so small.
So where did you go? I'm sorry, I was looking at two different things.
Me too.
Where'd I go for what?
To get here.
Okay, start over.
Okay.
When you're looking. Everybody that wants to know looking.
Google, yes.
Okay. Agent.kw.com. Because I'm already logged in, it jumped right in. Let's see, I'll just ixnay this. So it would give you agent.kw.com, gives you this login, and then you use your exact same credentials as getting into MyKW. And it takes you to this landing page. And we're gonna spend lots of time looking at all the different things in Command. I just wanted to show you, that went down to designs.
What'd you click on to expand that name?
The red KW.
The red KW, then you go
Yes,
down to
that
designs.
is.
Okay.
Mhm. And it does not matter if you click on the icon or the word, same. Designs. And that gave me this. And I'm not sure, I may have.
I think you clicked on the plus sign. Didn't you?
I know, I was just looking to see if I had a saved listing presentation in my saved designs, but I don't think I did.
So you went designs and then where? I'm sorry. Landing page?
just plus, click the plus.
Okay.
But I haven't, and this is gonna be a print item, and then create design. And it starts at the top of the stack, the business basics, business cards. But there are so many, some of these are postcards. Here we've got, okay, an event invitation. Here it is in door hanger format, flyer format, postcard format, or the vertical. So as opposed to Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, you can do, but this doesn't print. This is just for design. Wahoo! Family reunion. So once you have a listing and you want to create a flyer, you can take one of these templates and just swap out pictures and text. You can create postcards to promote. You can do all kinds of things. Wahoo! Luxury type things. Okay.
And we would just take these somewhere where they can print it, like the Staples or something?
Yep.
Okay.
One of the instructors, I forget, like last Tuesday, he was telling us about the Office Depot discount.
Yes, thank you. I was just going to say that. I'm going to show you right now. When you go to the MyKW here, up in the upper right, you see approved vendors. Click, search vendors, and then they are listed alphabetically, so the numeric ones come first. I'm going to go all the way down to Office Depot. I'm going to click on the box and scroll down here to where it says in-store discount card. Click, and you can print this. So that's, yes, and supposedly it's the maximum discount you can possibly get, and it, especially for printing, it's most valuable for printing. So, and I think the account number is the same for everybody, so, you know, probably one of y'all could do it. And
I just got mine in the mail. I've never had
that
one
was
before.
from Georgia Association of Realtors, and I have not been able to get them to tell me which discount is better.
Oh.
I have no idea. Would think Keller Williams is slightly better, but I know Eddie and Sam have been shocked at how much they've saved.
Good.
I saved $60 one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huge.
Testimonial, so use your thing. Okay, so I was showing them some different things, and then listing presentations. This was just a modern version and a classic. But as you have to say use. We're doing the modern. And there are 27 pages, but you have to click the plus to add which pages you want.
Will this auto-populate your Keller Williams information as far as your profile?
You gotta build out your
Yes,
profile.
it should.
Okay, yes, but I'm going to show you how to, the very first step I want everybody to do before trying to create something in Command. Okay, I'm on the landing page. I'm going to go up here to my name, click, and go to Settings. I'm going to come over here to the left. I'm going to click on Connect Settings, Marketing Profile. If you fill this in, then yes, it will auto-populate your stuff. Where I've got my headshot, I happen to have a personal logo, blah, blah, blah. I have a wrong-sized logo there. But anyway, what I was thinking about doing next week, well, even we could do it after one of the classes later this week, if you want to have 30 minutes of just some command stuff after class, we could do that. If you could stay, let's see. Yeah, Wednesday would be a good day. Would that, is there interest?
Yes.
This
Okay.
Wednesday?
All right, so we'll have a command workshop, and this is the very first thing, and I'll have the logos, I have electronically to share with you, because once this is done, it is much easier to launch your agent site and to start doing things and designs to create for marketing.
And then, yes, it will auto-populate.
Yes.
Whoever asks that question.
So when I'm here in, for instance, logos, I see how, Janet, see, when I clicked logos, I've got mine up here, and it,
Does that one print at the bottom of every page, does it say?
good question.
Go back to the template thing.
Go back to the template. Let me,
Yeah. It does.
Yes.
This'll be you.
right.
And then that'll be, at least the information, go to another page.
Yeah.
That's not the first page, and let me see. Oh, maybe it doesn't.
My marketing profile is filled out and it's not updating any of this.
Okay, not every page.
No.
So, not, because some of our older ones.
Yeah, they did.
Are you, Katie, have you tried to do anything other than a listing? See, I feel like I had to.
I have, and I had to update everything. But I mean, it's not that hard, but.
I think I had to do some steps, and I'll verify this. When I first used Rebrand, I actually had to add my logos and my headshot to my library, and then it was
Okay.
there. And it's not automatic. You still, just like in Publisher or Canva, you have to click on the picture in the template.
My picture's in my library,
Okay.
but yeah.
Did you, let's see, let's go back to the, logo. I'm adding you. Need this page. So I'm gonna come over here and click, and then I'll come over here and click and just see. Here we go. So I'm gonna replace, let's see, ta-da.
I don't know, my interface looks a little different because I was trying to get from the regular page to the agent.
Hey, no. There is a way, but I want you to learn agent.kw.com. Does everybody, if you access your password sheet that Allison gave you, or somebody gave you?
Cool, that just worked.
There is a, can you open another window and just type agent.kw.com? That's it. So, yes, okay, so now I'm gonna click on her face and I'm gonna exchange. Oh, there I am.
Here you are.
So, those are the only things, the logo and my headshot that I've done to my WeBrand thing so that I could do this. But I haven't fully checked everything out to see if there's a, I don't know, like in text, aha, look at here. All right, so I'm gonna go here and let's see, do that.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, okay. Wow. And it's pulling these things from my marketing profile. I can't see it.
There's no
But
change the
anyway.
color from up top.
Yes. Where is my color?
Yeah.
See, I'm not, this is not my thing.
That
Full
one.
color?
That one maybe? No, that's, yeah.
Yeah, of course we'll have to shrink her a little. Whatever, this is not what I do for a living, but you get the principle.
I'm like, I don't know where they are. Stacy's gotta tell you.
Right.
Any other questions? We are at
Yeah,
1
we're
o'clock.
at the time for lunch. And he's got, Paul Bryan's got lunch for us because they're gonna do a little certainty.
Oh,
Mortgage
nice.
101. So Wednesday, we'll have our first, command workshop and starting point, marketing profile, so we'll make sure we'll have that filled out.
Okay.
I'll even print what mine looks like to use as a guide, so please bring your laptops.
Any other questions for me before we close? Or if anybody has a personal question that they want to ask after, you can, but I know it's already 1 o'clock, so.
I thought you were awesome.
Well, thank you. Oh, make sure you fill out the, whatever it's called. What's that called?
Instructor evaluation.
Like, I don't even know what that thing is, but, yeah. And thank you. You are all going to be very successful. I can feel it. I can see it. I can tell it. You're the one who has to believe it. Because I believe it, and Stacy believes it, and Brad believes it. And everybody in your life believes it.
That's right.
Now you believe it.
That's right.
And go out and make it happen. Daily. There'll be days when you get up and go, I don't think I can do this. And you tell that person to get to the back of the bus because the one who knows we can do it is come to the front. You'll all be great.